Washington. Pass for Williams. He got it. To the end zone, leaping catch, Couch, touchdown.
For the first time in over a month, the Iowa Woo will take the field in Cedar Falls as they look to pick up their first win on home turf tonight against the Eau Claire Axemen. Welcome inside the Unidome on the campus of the University of Northern Iowa. Alongside Owen Sebring, I'm Jason Stivers. Owen, this game will showcase two teams tonight looking to end their seasons on the right foot in the last 2 weeks. For Eau Claire, they are looking to get their get back from a few weeks back when Iowa beat them on their home turf. And for Iowa, they are looking to build off of a very, very good road trip. They won a couple games, 2 out of their 3. They went toe-to-toe with Nebraska. This is going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it kind of depends on who you think has more to play for. Is it the Iowa Woo, who, if they keep winning, could still keep themselves alive for a possible spot in the Arena League postseason? Or is it the Axemen, who are winless this season? Do they have a little bit more to play for and just getting a chance to finally find a win before the season ends?
They always say a desperate team is a dangerous one. Both these teams very desperate to end the season on the right note. Let's take a look at our impact players. First for Eau Claire, Marcelino Butler Jr. had a very good week last week, has built some good numbers. The Axemen are looking for a weapon, quite frankly, to keep their season alive, keep the chance for them to get a win on this year.
This is the lowest scoring offensive team in the entire league. They're a team that just needs to find anybody to be an offensive weapon, do something for them on offense. And Marcelino Butler could be that guy. 99 receiving yards this season, 8 catches. Maybe he's the weapon that they need.
And as you can see on the screen, the impact player for the Woo, Vernon Sharp, didn't have the season start that he would wanted, but you look at his numbers last week and his last couple of weeks, he's been, pun intended, quite sharp.
Sharp-dressed man, as ZZ Top would say. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception last week. His turnovers were really a question mark early in the season, but the box score last week would sure make it look like he's turned things around. And against an Axemen team that doesn't do too well on defense, this could be the kind of night that Vernon Sharp really could feast on them.
Well, all your questions will be answered after this break. Throw-off coming your way after a short break. You're watching the Arena League. Back here in Cedar Falls, we are a few moments away from getting this one underway. And since it's been a while since we've seen the Iowa Woo here in this building, let's talk about their last couple of weeks.
Sure.
Over a month trip away from Cedar Falls, including the July 4th break. There were no games during that week. But they went 2-3, and they looked really impressive coming out of that.
Yeah, and one of the guys you have to look at, again, we just talked about him in the impact players of the game, but it's Vernon Sharp, a guy who started the season, he was throwing a lot of interceptions. Yes, he was clearly an offensive threat for the Iowa Woo, but the turnovers were clearly a problem for him, especially in their season opener against the Greenheads. His turnovers really were what led to them losing that game when it could have been a win at their hands. But, again, as I said last week, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 25 passing touchdowns this season. He really has figured things out. He's leading the Arena League right now in interceptions thrown, but he's second in rushing yards. Yes, the turnovers have been an issue so far, but it seems like he might be cleaning it up, and tonight might be a time to pad those stats once again for Vernon Sharp.
And I mean, something to take note of, too, he wasn't the starter on this team a year ago.
Yep.
Right? So it took a while for him to get settled in, and now the Woo look like a threat. You mentioned it. You know, we talked about it early in the Open. There's still a chance for them to get in the playoffs. They have to win tonight and next week against Nebraska, an undefeated team. Mind you, they took Nebraska to the brink a couple weeks back. The Siege just barely escaped that game.
And one of the question marks that I'm really going to be watching for tonight is who are the weapons that Vernon Sharp is going to be looking for? Because this team has 3 guys in triple figures for receiving yards, but 2 of their top 3 leading receivers are not in the lineup tonight. C.J. Leggett and Leslie Owusu are not on the roster this evening. And so they do still have Trey Henderson out there. He's got 147 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns this season. But a big part of that offensive passing attack is off of the field tonight. So who's going to step up? Who are going to be those guys that Vernon Sharp looks to when he's looking to pass downfield?
You always talk about that next man up mentality. That's doubly so important here tonight in Cedar Falls. And on the other side for the Axemen, they're just looking for something to get them going.
Yeah, their main quarterback who had been doing so well for them, he got injured, and so Joshua Murray had to step in for them at quarterback last week through 3 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. He's the only guy who has a rushing touchdown on that roster, so Joshua Murray could be an offensive weapon, but they're still trying to figure out what they might have in him. Is this the guy that we want to have as our starting quarterback going forward? A lot of question marks on that Axemen team, a team that, again, is bottom of the league in offensive output, and it just went from bad to worse when their starting quarterback went down, and Joshua Murray is just doing everything that he can to hold this team together right now.
Absolutely, and again, these 2 teams did play to start that long road trip. It felt like so long ago they played. Iowa did come out on top in Eau Claire. Looks like we are about ready to go as we get our final thoughts in here.
Yeah, 46-38 was the final of that one, and I would expect, if I were a bet man, another high-scoring attack out of the Woo, probably going to overpass that 46-point mark. I think that Vernon Sharp, as he's starting to figure things out, this is a time where you might start to see a passing touchdown on just about every drive this team has. And if you're new to the game, I don't know if you're tuning in for the first time to the Arena League, or if you're an old veteran, so maybe you figured this game out, but we do like to walk you through some of the rules that they have in this game, because there are some changes that make this game different than not just from outdoor football, but from any football that you've seen before. As we've talked about many times in the past, there is no kicking in this game, and so when we get this game started in a little bit, it's going to start with a throw-off. So probably going to be Vernon Sharp, who steps into the end zone for the Woo and just throws it downfield, and that's basically how we get this game started. He tries to throw it as far as he can, and then the Axemen can return it as they would a punt or a kickoff return. And so you want to have a guy with a nice rifle back there who can get as far down the field as he can, and that's just one of those little differences that sets this game apart from anything that anybody's ever seen before.
Absolutely. It looks like the Woo will get the ball to start. The Axemen will deliver the punt throw combination.
Looks like it's Trayvon Colbert back there for the Woo, with the heels close to the end zone line as he's about to take the opening throw off.
Colbert's quite fast on these throw offs. He's a threat. The throw's not going to get to the 10. It needs to get there. That'll be a penalty. And that'll set the Woo up nicely here.
Yep. And that, too, is one thing that they're still trying to get adjusted to. Number 19, the guy who's thrown it there, that's Thomas Linear for the Axemen. Too, again, just one of those difficulties that they're figuring out with having their starting quarterback go down. Now they don't maybe have a guy who's used to throwing the ball downfield as far on the throw-offs. And so another one of those complications that now sets the Woo up with a short field.
So they will get started at the 25-yard line midfield in the Arena League. So an opportunity for Vernon Sharp and the Woo to strike early. Again, Sharp's numbers last week and a few weeks ago, impressive. Takes a snap, under pressure immediately, escapes out of the pocket. He's looking to run, and he'll get tackled and end up throwing the ball out of bounds about the 24-yard line.
A lot of pressure there on Sharp, but we saw what he's able to do so well. He has great escapability. As I mentioned, he's second in the entire league in rushing yards. So this is a guy who can move the ball downfield when he wants to. There just ran out of options, nowhere to go with the ball.
We take a look at the Iowa Woo, 2-4 on the season. And we take a look at the replay of that last play. Points for, 225, points against, 291. So still looking to improve on the point differential. Over 1,000 passing yards for Sharp in the season, 25 passing touchdowns, those 16 interceptions, but those interceptions down in the last couple of weeks for Sharp.
Yeah, he's a guy who, as with a lot of players, just needs to kind of figure things out. This league takes some getting used to, both for fans, for broadcasters, and for players alike.
Certainly for broadcasters.
Yes.
Here's the second down. Sharp's going to keep it. He gets positive yardage before he's taken down. We'll see where they mark it, about the 16-yard line. A positive gain on second down for Sharp.
About 1 yard short of the first down marker, and we're seeing one of those little rules, too, that they have to follow here in the Arena League, where the ball carrier has to stay within the hash marks when they're behind the line of scrimmage. Once they pass the line of scrimmage with the ball, then they're able to cut back and forth wherever they need to go.
Third and short. Snap. The throw nearly intercepted. Couldn't keep his hands on it.
Willie McCaleb nearly had that one. Should have had that one. He was banging the fence in frustration because he knew he had an interception there. Vernon Sharp got to be a little bit better than that. He just threw right to the opponent. Got to be a little bit more sharp than that if you want to get this team in the end zone.
Maybe 9.5 times out of 10 he comes down with that pick. Fourth down, they're going to go for it. Sharp got a man wide open into the end zone. Touchdown, Woo! The fourth down turns into a touchdown for Iowa. He was wide open.
Wide open, nobody in front of him. Looks like that is Keontae Chavies, a new addition to the roster. We didn't see this guy on the field coming in. Is that a number 0 or is that a number 8?
That is a number 8, Harold Brooks.
Harold Brooks, a different new addition to the roster coming in. As they line up for the 2-point conversion here.
Under pressure immediately. Sharp throw. Incomplete. Contested at the wall. The receiver almost came down with it.
You'll forgive us here up in the booth when we look down in the field. Some of those wrinkles, the 0 can look like an 8 and vice versa, but that was number 8, Harold Brooks, who came down with that touchdown pass. The rosters do change sometimes from week to week. Harold Brooks was a guy we didn't see on the roster last week, and here he is today scoring the first touchdown of the night for Vernon Sharp, who now has 26 passing touchdowns on the season. I think I said it in the intro that I would expect the Iowa Woo to get into the end zone just about in every drive, and here they are, starting it off with a touchdown on their opening drive of the night.
6-0 your score early. Game just getting underway. And see, I think that's a theme for the Axemen, right? Got him on a fourth down. It was fourth and short, but still fourth down. And the receiver was wide open in the middle of the field. Can't have that happen on defense, especially on a situation where you can get a turnover.
And here's Frankie Solomon, the one throwing it up on the throw off, and that goes poorly. Surely that must have been intentional, but he just threw it straight into the stands, and that means that now the Axemen are going to get a chance to start with the ball at midfield.
Clearly, the Woo, you cannot have faith in the Axemen offense.
Either that, or they thought that they had a dangerous return man, so just wanted to get that one into the stands and not give them a chance to do anything with the ball in their hands.
Murray will start the Eau Claire drive at midfield. Takes a snap. Receivers go in motion. Throw down the middle. Wide open man. Nobody's going to get to him. Touchdown, Eau Claire.
This one's going to be coming back. I hate to tell the fans of the Axemen, but one of the man in motion, the receiver in motion, he did cross the line of scrimmage before they snapped the ball, so that's going to be a false start on the Axemen. So that's what my eyes saw at least. Nope. Never.
On
never
the defense. The call will stand. It is a touchdown for Eau Claire. And just like that, they've tied the game.
Brian Sandeifer with a touchdown catch. I was sure that ball was going to be coming back because the receiver crossed the line of scrimmage early, but the call was on the defense, and so we are tied at 6 now. Chance now here for the Axemen as they line up for a 2-point conversion.
And that's why we're up here and not wearing the stripes down on the field.
Man, little do I know.
Low snap. Murray golfed up immediately. Taken down.
Ty Anderson, the first man on the job, the first man to get to the quarterback, and he has been a defensive wrecking ball for the Iowa Woo this season. Comes into the night with 4 sacks, one of the best defensive players in the league. He's got 1 interception this season, and he was first to bring that quarterback down.
So we are all tied up, 6-6 your score. We take another look. That great defensive play, and just nobody
That is something that we've seen out of the Woo all season, is that even though the offense has struggled at times, even though the turnovers have been there, they've been a pretty good defensive frontline team. They've gotten to the quarterback well. They're one of the best teams in the league in terms of sacks and getting the ball early. That's what they do well, and that's where they showed it there.
16 sacks on the season coming into today for the Woo. And they forced 24 turnovers. So the Woo will get the ball back. Tied up, a good throw this time. And the receiver's gonna have some running room at the 25, 20, 15, 10! Touchdown, Woo!
There goes Trayvon Colbert on the reception of the throw-off. Takes it, let's see, I'm gonna say about 46 yards for the touchdown on that one. Here we are, just about hardly 2.5 minutes into this game, and we've got 3 touchdowns on the board already. This is where the Arena League is at its finest.
You like points, you like scoring, you have tuned in to the right game tonight, folks.
There's Mark Woodley getting the close-up. Well done, Woodley. Getting the great shot down there, coming right at him.
11:43 on the clock. 12-6 your score. The Woo will go 4-2. Failed on their first attempt. Sharp takes the snap. Under pressure. Escapes, throws, intercepted in the end zone. And the Woo will try to get him down and will.
Well, we talked about the turnovers for Sharp that had been an issue early in the season. Only one last week, but now he already throws one in the first 4 minutes of tonight's game. And so hope to get those issues cleaned up if you're a fan of the Woo. One thing we want to cover, of course, as well is the turnover the extra point situation that they have here in the Arena League. If they line up at the 10 and go for the play from there, then it's going to be worth 2 points, or they can line up at the 5 and it'd be a 1-point conversion. So as we've seen so far, 3 touchdowns, all 3 times the team has gone for 2. It seems like that is the better form of valor, to just go ahead and try for the 2-point conversion in most situations. We'll see it mixed up maybe throughout the game, but so far that is the way the teams like to go.
Sharp had a man on that 2-point, just a little underthrown right to the receiver. A good catch for Eau Claire to keep it within 6. 12-6 your score. The Woo will throw it off.
Let's see what we do this time.
Keeps it in the field of play. Right to the man at the 10. Breaks the tackle almost, but he gets swallowed up about the 14-yard line. Almost got away from one, but the swarm came in from the Woo.
That was our player of the game to watch for the Axemen. That was Marcelino Butler back there getting the throw off. And so again, that might be the reason why the Iowa Woo chose to throw it out of bounds on the first throw off, is because he is a dangerous weapon for the Axemen. But of course, they scored a touchdown on the first play of their drive the last time, so they figured, well, why don't we just go ahead and do the normal throw off and see what they can do with the full field in front of them.
So the drive will start at the 14. Receiver in motion. Murray takes the snap. Looking for it all. Receiver. And it's intercepted. The defender came down with it at the 15. 10. Taken down at the 4. An unbelievable play. Murray threw it up for grabs, and the Woo come away with the ball.
Wow. Got to see a replay of this one. This looked like a thing of beauty for number 15 for the Woo. Off his back? Did he catch that one? Wow, that was beautiful by Khalil Smith, the product of Northwest Missouri State, bringing it upfield. Got about 3 yards away from the end zone. That was an unbelievable way to pick off a pass. Can we see this one again? I've got to see another replay of this one. Khalil Smith,
beautiful.
It looked like the receiver had his hands on it, and then Khalil Smith out of nowhere just somehow had the ball in his hands. That was beautiful.
So just like that, the Woo are set up in prime position at the 3. As we take another look at that replay.
Okay, let's see this again. Goes down.
Able to keep it in play, but
I think he just with
lost
the left hand, almost looked like it went just about over the fence, the boundary line, and Khalil Smith just pulled it back, and now here the Woo are again knocking on the end zone.
Heads up defensive play by Smith. The Woo at the 3-yard line. And there's a conversation happening right now up in our press box with the replay official.
Okay.
So they took a look at this, and he was touched in the end zone against the wall
While he had the ball in his hands.
while he had the ball. So considered down.
Yep.
So touchback. So still an interception, still a positive play for the Woo, but they are going to have to go the length of the field now to get this touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, touchback in the Arena League just puts the ball at the 5-yard line, so you still have 45 yards in front of you. I don't know if you could see that on the replay, but Khalil Smith had the ball was on his back at one point. It was kind of pressed between his back and the boundary marker there. He was able to grab it, get possession. The Axemen player was able to just get one hand on him. Marcelino Butler just kind of touched him, and that was what resulted in it just being a touchback.
So this drive will start at the 5. First play running to the right, gets about 1 or 2 on the play. So 9:36 on the clock after the interception. The Woo thought they had it in prime position right in the red zone, but
yeah,
they'll have to take it the length of the field if they want that touchdown. But they've looked good so far on both ends of the ball. Really all 3 sides, all 3 phases. Sharp on second down, he'll throw. Looking for a man, tipped, and hits the ground.
Boy, that was another dangerous pass that could have been an interception for the Axemen. Yeah, if I'm counting right, I think that the Woo have run 3 defensive plays tonight. One, they gave up a touchdown. Another, they had an interception, and the other one was a sack on their the 2-point conversion attempt by the Axemen. So 2 for 3. Really nice play so far.
Thomas Lanier with the tip. He couldn't quite corral it in for the big man pick.
Yeah, Lanier is an athlete, too. He's the one who's been doing the throw-offs tonight, so he can do it all for the Axemen.
Third down. Here's the snap. Sharp standing in his own end zone. Under pressure. Gets it away. It's caught at about the 20, maybe the 21. A third down conversion.
Just a beautiful throw and catch to Kai Von Smith. Slices up the defense right here. He had to weave it through about 3 different Axemen defenders here. Found him right where he needed to be, and he got a first down.
Taken down by Richie Murphy. First down play. Pressure immediately by the Axemen. Sharp will take off. He's still going at the 20, about the 15. Where will they mark him down? They'll mark him about the 17-yard line.
Here's what Sharp does so well. Once the defenders get in the backfield, he can see that pressure, and the field just opens up right in front of him. And that is when, as a defense, you are going to be in trouble, because Sharp is so dangerous once he's got the ball in his hands.
So just like that, the Woo are marching down the field. Another first down. Sharp, quick throw, got a man, first down, a little bit more, down to about the 4-yard line. So right in the heart of the red zone.
Going to Kai Von Smith again. As I mentioned, we're trying to find who the favorite targets are going to be for Vernon Sharp tonight, with a couple of the Woo's top receivers out. Smith looking early like he could be one of the guys that Sharp's going to rely on.
Quick snap here on first down. Sharp dances, under pressure, delivers, and throws it out of bounds to avoid the contact and the potential sack. Second down coming up.
And that's the kind of play we do like to see out of Sharp. Once you get in trouble, if you don't have man open, don't try to pressure or force anything. We've seen 2 passes of his tonight that were nearly picked off because he was trying to force something to happen. There's a situation where he just made a smart play and threw it out of bounds.
And there will be an injury timeout. We got a Eau Claire player down. And I can say this because I've been playing my fair share of college football 27. It's a bad idea to throw under pressure, especially when you're, diving away from pressure, over your shoulder, across your body. It's a bad idea. Just throw it away.
Never
it's a
gonna
smart
go well.
play.
Who do you play with when you're playing?
I kind of go back and forth. So obviously I'm a UNI student here, University of Northern Iowa. So I have my UNI team builder team that I play with. They're not the best, but they do, and it's a little bit of representation. A fumbled snap, and he's going to get taken down about the 18-yard line. They'll say he was wrapped up about 14. So Sharp gets sacked on second down. Third down and long upcoming.
Defensive pressure has been coming for Sharp early. Both sides with the defensive front working through the line of the front line, and he just had no shot at that one after the bobbled snap. As number 21 there, Willie McCall, who came through and got the sack.
So 3rd and long after the sack. Sharps looked good so far today. Sharp stands at about the 20-yard line. Receiver in motion. He'll take the snap. Under pressure, gets it away. Caught. He's still rumbling down to about the 4.
That's Stephon Chapman, another offensive weapon that the Woo are going to utilize tonight. A guy who can catch the ball well and gets it inside the 5-yard line again. And again, this is a part of the field where you got to remember that this is a place where you cannot run the ball in. You've got to throw it once you get inside the 5-yard line.
So 4th down. Sharp takes the snap, dances. Line is holding up. He's got to let it go, though. A hefty block, and the throw intercepted across his body. A cardinal sin. Just like I was talking about.
You just told it, and what makes that even more painful, I think, when Vernon Sharp watches that play after the fact, too. I thought he was going to run the ball into the end. Well, I guess I'm answering my own question here. You can't run the ball in the end zone once you're inside the 5. So he knew he had to get rid of the ball, but that was not the right play to get rid of it.
Had a couple of options. Would have been throwing into double coverage if that was accurate pass.
Yeah. Good job by number 3 there, Trayvon Colbert, just being able to chase the man down so it didn't turn into a pick 6.
So the Axemen will take over at the 15. The Axemen trailing by 6 early. A little bit of offense, a little bit of defense, a little bit of special teams to start this one, as a timeout will be called here early.
I think the
Eau Claire will take a timeout here.
Call that one. Yeah, and let me just go back to that rule again that is a unique one to the Arena League, and something that I had just said it seconds before and still forgot it as I was watching the play unfold. But if you are on or within the 5-yard line, you cannot run the ball in for a touchdown. You have to throw it at that point. And so even though I think I got confused because Sharp ran around so much in the backfield, I forgot that they started the play at the 5-yard line. But that was actually good recognition by him to at least get rid of the ball before he got past the line of scrimmage. But he did know at that point that you can't run the ball when you're within the 5-yard line. And so he threw the ball away, just not away enough because it ended up in the hands of an Axemen player.
So after the timeout, 1st down at the Woo 15. Excuse me, the Axemen's 15 on their side of the field. After the interception in the end zone. The Axemen looking for their first win of the year. Murray takes a snap. High snap, able to corral it. The throw on target and completed. Down to about the 23. Good throw, good catch. Good stuff all around for Eau Claire.
Number 11, Brian Smith for the Axemen, getting them into their side of the field. Just trying to find some rhythm here. The Axemen, who are not a strong offensive unit, just trying to do anything they can to start marching down the field and stringing some plays together.
So 1st down, about the 23-yard line. On positive side, pressure gets there immediately. Murray's going to take off. He's got room. Stiff arms the defender, trucks the defender at the 10. Well, he trucked the defender to get some extra yardage.
That's maybe the beauty of having a guy that's a wide receiver just filling in a quarterback. Joshua Murray, again, last week was his first one starting at quarterback, so he's still just getting used to the position. And when you're throwing the ball and you have a receiver at quarterback, maybe there are going to be some question marks out there, but when you're under pressure like that, he can escape and he can do some things when the ball's in his hands.
He's been hitting the weight room, I'll tell you that.
Experienced guy, too. Graduated college in 2011. He's been around for a while. Smart player there when you've got a guy like that in the backfield.
Snapped Murray. Dances. Looking. Runs it again. And he'll get down to about the 1-yard line. Didn't get across the plane for a touchdown. He'll be down about the 1. Another good run by Murray.
Yeah, and that's where there really are some tricky question marks for what you want to do here, because how do we pass the ball when we've got such a small field like this? We're on the 1-yard line. There's almost no real estate to work with, so you really have to get creative with your play calling if you're the coach, the quarterback, and the offensive coordinator. But right now I see a red flag on the field, so it looks like we've got a challenge that's going to be coming up to the booth here. Looks like the Woo are the team challenging here. I think what he might be challenging here is that it looked like the ball came out after the quarterback Murray hit the ground, and so they're maybe challenging. They're saying that the ball came out and that they recovered the fumble. So we'll see what the folks up here in the booth have to say.
We will try to spy in on a replay official sitting right next to us. See what he's looking at. They are challenging that he was outside the run lane.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that thought occurred to me for a moment as well, that it looked like he might have stepped out of there, but didn't know if it was before or after he crossed the line of scrimmage.
So the replay official will take a look at it.
Replay crew hard at work up here.
And I'll say, just looking at the replay we had on the big scoreboard here in the Unidome, it looked awfully close. We'll take a look at with you guys.
Just a few of the kind of dimensions and rules that you get used to here. 50-yard long field, 85 feet wide. We've got a few referees down in the field, and then we've got one up here in the sky to judge things.
It looks like he might have stepped out of the line, behind the line of scrimmage. We'll take another look at it if we can.
That'd be good news for the Woo.
So we are awaiting the official ruling. 3:03 left in the first quarter. 12-6 your score. Woo up 6 over the Eau Claire Axemen. The call is upheld.
So the Woo lose a timeout, and now the Axemen have the ball. The Woo will be retained at the 1-yard line.
So it looks like he didn't step outside of it. He was maybe on the line, but that's not what the rule says. He can't be outside of the hash marks. So our replay official up here in the booth upheld the call. So Eau Claire has it at the 1. Looking to tie or take the lead. The snap. Hands it off and is swallowed up.
Ethan Skarmus just eaten up in the backfield. Met at that front line by serious force. Apollo Johnson getting a hand on him. Beg your pardon, Apollo Johnson not playing that. That was Malik Allen who got his first hand on him.
Apologies for any roster mistakes. They've
Gonna have some last-minute changes there, as long as we get the right guys on the field.
There we go. Murray with some room. He's got to pass it. He does. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Axemen.
Another unbelievable catch and play there by Brian Smith. One-handed, he reached back. I thought we were going to see a pass interference call maybe even there. The defender draped all over him. Watch him just stick one hand backwards and reel this thing in. Beautiful.
And a great throw by Joshua Murray. Back shoulder, placed it right on a dot, right where it needed to be. Perfect throw, perfect catch. Touchdown, Axemen.
He knew he was in trouble. He saw the guys bearing down on him, knew he was approaching the line of scrimmage, and got rid of it, and saw Smith make a gorgeous catch.
So Eau Claire going for 2. They could take the lead with the successful conversion. Here's a snap. Murray will run in.
Yeah, outside the lines.
And it will not count.
I know I was wrong on my last call where I tried to predict what penalty we were going to see, but that one I'm pretty sure that he went outside of the running lane before he crossed the line of scrimmage.
That one was pretty obvious.
It appeared to me, at least.
So a conversation with the referees. Again, the line of scrimmage, after the line of scrimmage, they can go wherever they please. They just have to stay in between the hashes up until the line of scrimmage.
Let's get a closer look here. Yep, way out, way out. He was a full step out at about the 13-yard line even.
So they will get to retry here for the 2-point, but it's going to be 10 yards back.
Wow.
So suddenly a lot more difficult of an attempt.
There's so many things that come along with having a new quarterback on your roster, especially in a league like this where the rules are so unique. A guy like Joshua Murray, maybe he's played quarterback before, maybe not, but he's still new to the position in this league, and so even if he knows the rule that you're not supposed to go outside of those running lanes, it's still hard to train yourself to avoid that muscle memory of just saying, okay, I see an opening, I'm going to take it. That's just one of the hard things about this league, especially when you're a backup coming in and trying to feel things out. It's understandable that you're going to have some penalties in situations like that, just because it's hard for guys to get used to the new rules of this league that are so different than normal football and even normal Arena League football.
And, you know, especially as a broadcaster trying to read these rules, become familiar with them, it can be difficult. These rules, they're a lot different. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, it's not just different from outdoor leagues, college, NFL, you know, pro leagues, but it's different from, you know, the IFL, different from other leagues that play indoors. So just kind of comes down to coaching, making sure these players understand what the rules are.
And I have a good friend named Curtis Fader who does a little bit of kicking for some Arena League teams. He's played in Dubuque and for the Iowa Barnstormers, and I thought that I might suggest he play for a team like the Woo, but he's got no spot on a team like this as a kicker.
They don't really
Keep
like
yourself
kicking
away.
here, you know? And of course, arena football has a deep history here in Iowa, especially in this area. Talk about some of the UNI greats in football. You really have to start with Kurt Warner. Played his ball here in the Unidome for Northern Iowa. Didn't get a shot at the NFL right out of college. Played with the Barnstormers. Played around the indoor arena scene and finally got his opportunity. Now he's in the Hall of Fame.
Here's one of my favorite stats I like is that the Iowa Woo are one of 5 Arena League teams around the state of Iowa. 5 Arena League teams is the second most of any state in the United States of America. Only the state of Texas has more Arena Leagues than the state of Iowa does right now. Of course, there are, I mean, a almost inconceivable amount of Arena League teams. It's a number that's hard to calculate. Is there 8? Is there 12? Is there 16? It kind of changes depending on the year. But as of right now, they are one of those 5 teams that all play in different leagues. And Iowa does really have a proud history with the Arena League. It maybe all started with Kurt Warner, a guy who set the mold for a guy who could do well in a league like this and then go on to do things in the NFL and then eventually get in the Hall of Fame. So maybe in a state like Iowa that's seen guys play in a league like this and then do it at the highest level, you never know what you're going to get, especially when a Panda in a U.S. Constitution shirt shows up to a game. Just never know what's going to happen in an Arena League game.
The America 250 celebration here in the Unidome tonight. And, you know, one of the great things about covering this league and covering a league like this, you know, one of the many great things is you never really know what you're going to see. You know, week 1 we had Red Panda, international star, come in. Week 2 we had a drum performance, and this week we have a panda. It's rather hot inside the Unidome to be wearing a costume like that.
The head's come off of the Panda. I can see down on the field.
He's fanning his face.
And the ref looked like he was fanning his face too as we're trying to get things sorted out on the field.
So they were in a replay that entire time, and the result of that replay is exactly where we were about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
They'll replay the try with a 10-yard penalty. We were kind of just talking here. I wasn't quite sure what was happening around us. So this is a 2-point conversion try. Receiver in motion. Murphy takes a snap, looking for an opening, looking for a man, throws just over the head of the receiver, incomplete.
And that brings to the end of a very long sequence of plays for the Eau Claire Axemen on offense. Vernon Sharp's had a nice chance to recover and get his arm rested up as they try to take the lead again after 4 touchdowns, and we have yet to see a successful 2-point conversion attempt.
Marcelino Butler Jr., our impact player, was the intended target. You know, we were talking about some of the great things about this league. One of the things that's really stuck out to me as someone who's, you know, covering this league now this year, but you know, really learning about this league and arena football in general. You know, there's so many different types of people in this league, right? You have people who are a little bit older, you know, still wanting to play ball, wanting to prove that they still have something. And you have younger guys who are, you know, had a college career, played at colleges, maybe D2, D3 colleges, but are still looking to make a name for themselves and put something on tape, and these leagues are really great for that. Here's the throw off, caught by the 1. He's off and running at the 15, at the 20, 25, and tackled down about the 22-yard line. And the Woo are set up in positive field position.
Another great return by Trayvon Colbert. He's a guy that we didn't really talk about in the pregame as somebody who might be an impact player today, but boy, what a great return game he's had so far for the Woo.
I mean, he's just got great speed, great maneuverability.
Escape to tackle, sees the field well, moves up the field. Now the Woo are starting this drive 22 yards away from the end zone.
Now here's the question for Sharp. He throws it away, and the option is taken down to about the 14, maybe the 13. Just a few inches short. Nope, they'll give him the first down on that option play. One of the questions about Vernon Sharp, you know, we talked about his numbers last week, very impressive. But, you know, what would his response be like to adversity, right? Throwing an interception, you know, not a very pretty one, quite frankly. What would his response be? We'll see that here in this drive. First down, bobbles the snap, picks it up, under pressure, and taken down by the Axemen.
Tyrek man getting there in the backfield and bringing Sharp down. Yeah, how is Sharp going to respond? Because he's already thrown 2 picks tonight. He's already had 2 other plays that look like they could have been interceptions. And so as we turn the page to the second quarter of this game, what's it going to look like next for Vernon Sharp?
And a good defensive play by Eau Claire, just swallowing Sharp up after the fumbled snap. So second down, backed up to about the 19-yard line. And there's a timeout on the field. Got to give a shout out here to Richie Murphy of the Axemen. We'll talk more about that when we come back from break. End of the first quarter, all evened up 12-12. You're watching the Arena League.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
The neighbors just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
Start of the second quarter here in Cedar Falls. We're all knotted up. 12-12 your score. The Eau Claire Axemen and the Iowa Woo doing battle here in week 7 of the Arena League. So the Woo will start the quarter at the 20-yard line with a second down after the sack of Sharp. High snap. Escaping the pocket, throws to the end zone, wide open, touchdown, Woo!
Easy. Couldn't have made it look any more simple for Kai Von Smith, a dangerous weapon emerging in this Woo attack. Wide open in the end zone. Sharp's on, Smith, nothing but painted grass for the Woo.
Talked about how would Sharp respond. Well, it's nice when you make it easy like that,
That's
but
beautiful.
beautiful route by Smith. Wide open, nobody within 5 yards of him. 2-point conversion, and Sharp will get taken down for our back-to-back failed 2-point conversions.
And number 48, James Dorr, one of the best defensive players again in the league. He's got 4 sacks coming into the game. He adds his 5th there. One of the few guys on this team who has any sacks this season. James Dorr, a really strong defensive player for the Axemen. He played a little bit of college football over at Eastern Michigan University, played a little bit at Valpo. Really talented player. He's maybe one of the best guys on the Axemen this year.
18 to 12 your scores. We take another look at that touchdown, and man, nobody there. Busted coverage, and Sharp makes him pay.
See the defense trying to figure out whose miscommunication it was on their side, but results in another 6 for the Woo. One thing that we've seen just about every week, I think, that we've had one of these Woo games in the Unidome is the struggle with converting on the point after attempts and how much of a factor that can play in these games. Right now, the Woo with 0 successful conversions, that's 6 points they've left off the board.
And a Chucky backplate.
Frankie Solomon chucking it into the stands again. Maybe avoiding the dangerous return man, maybe just wanting to give a souvenir to a fan. One thing we talk about with these leagues is that no balls are coming back to the field. Once the ball hits the stands, if a fan catches it, they get to keep it. Doesn't need to come back. So that guy who caught that ball, that's staying with him.
So that means the drive for the Axemen will start at the 25. "14 minutes to go. The second quarter just getting underway in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Woo with a 6-point lead over Eau Claire. Murphy will take off, has room at the 10, at the 5, touchdown, Axemen!
Who needs to pass the ball when you got a guy like Joshua Murray in your backfield? There was no hesitation on that play. Didn't try to scramble, didn't try to evade any pressure. He saw an opening right up the middle, took it immediately, and he hardly got touched on his way to the end zone. Had one defender in the way, yep, untouched all the way to the end zone. Got to replace a little bit of the carpet there, make sure we smooth that out. But Joshua Murray proving that even though he is an inexperienced quarterback, he is an athlete. He can get things done out there. And now we're going to see if we can finally get a successful conversion attempt out of the Axemen.
We will see. You know, that's so important, having athletes. You know, the position is important, right, in some aspects, but having athletes, that's important. Here's the 2-point. Murray throws, completed, but stopped short. We almost had one there.
No, he was dangerously close to stepping over that boundary line at the 10-yard lines, which would have been an illegal forward pass, but I think he stopped just in time to keep the ball behind the line of scrimmage, which allowed it to be a completed pass, but kept short of the goal line. Great job by the defense, swarming to the ball, making sure they kept him out of the end zone, and we remain tied at 18.
13:04 on the clock. We said it earlier, and we'll repeat it again. If you like offense, this is the right game for you.
Yeah.
These two teams, you know, it's interesting to see, too, because we've had a really good, you know, defensive play, really on both sides. It's just the offenses have been better.
And the Axemen haven't had to spend a lot of time on the field. We've seen 2 drives now, I think, where the first play of offense results in a touchdown. And I think that the Woo are going to have to adjust their special teams unit here, because both times where they've thrown the ball out of bounds on the throw-off, which has set Eau Claire up at the 25-yard line, the first play of those ensuing drives have resulted in a touchdown. And so if you're the Woo, maybe want to rethink that strategy.
Here's the throw, and it's a good one. All the way back into the end zone. Receiver will take it out. He's got room at the 20, at the 15, and taken down at about the 11 or 12. We'll see where they spot it to be about the 12-yard line. And another great return for the Woo.
If you're the Axemen, maybe you're the team that wants to start thinking about throwing the ball out of bounds on the throw, because Trayvon Colbert has proven to be an absolute weapon for the Woo on the special teams unit. That's 3 kick returns, throw-off returns, I should say, that have resulted in them getting the ball in the red zone or a touchdown on one of them. Just an amazing return man he's proven to be.
The ball will be spotted about the 12-yard line, maybe 13-yard line for Vernon Sharp. Stands in the backfield alone. Receiver goes in motion. Here's the snap. Under pressure immediately. Dances away. Can he get it off? Looks in the throw. Crosses body. Receiver can't get it. Almost had a highlight reel play.
Just a little too far upstairs for number 8, Harold Brooks, guy who had the first touchdown of the night. Sharp did a great job escaping pressure there. Found a guy over in the end zone, but just couldn't quite climb the ladder quite high enough.
You know, and obviously that goes down as an incompletion, but you like to see that from Sharp. That ball was thrown high where the defender couldn't get to it. So yes, it is incomplete as we see a second down play. Sharp escaping again, dancing, throw to the end zone. Caught! Did he hold on to it? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Woo.
Trey Henderson, there's a guy we thought we might see a little bit more of. One of the best receivers on this team, getting his first touchdown catch of the night, and a great adjustment there from Sharp. The last play that ended up being an overthrow, he brought it down just about 1.5 feet, and that was enough for Trey Henderson to get his hands on it for the 4th touchdown of the day for the Woo.
24-18 your score, and we will try this again with a 2-point. Receiver in motion. Sharp takes it. Under pressure, escapes. He's going to run up the middle. Can he get there? Did he get in? Yes, he did. And finally, we have a successful conversion.
The 7th try works like a charm for the Woo, and I did wonder when they might just try to utilize something like that. Vernon Sharp, who's such a talented runner, when you're set up at the 10-yard line, just go ahead and let that guy use his feet the best he can, and that's what he does there. Finally, we see a successful conversion to him. Finally put some more points on the board, and now the Woo have an 8-point lead. Now what you got to do here is just try to find a stop. We are reaching the point in the game where it's like, okay, is the first team who gets a defensive stop, are they going to be the one who ends up getting the edge in this game? The Woo desperately want to get a stop. They want to try to start pulling away in this thing.
You know, as great as it is you're scoring, so is the other team, right? How long do you want to go tit for tat in this game? You know, do you want to lock up defensively? We know the Iowa Woo can. It's just, will they in this game?
And now the decision comes. What do we want to do with the throw? Do we want to put it in the stands again and set the Axemen up at the 25? Or do we want to try to at least take our shot with pinning them back deep?
Frankie Solomon. Will get the throw.
And it's one thing that has surprised me tonight, not to see. Do we have a referee just discussing something with one of the fans, I think, in the recliners? I think maybe, well, I can speculate all I want, but I suppose I shouldn't speculate over the air about what the conversation is, but the referee is having a discussion with one of the fans there in the front row.
In one of the fancy recliners, and it looks like
he's got a broken leg. Give the guy a break.
Give him some grace. Give him some grace. Deserved that seat tonight. So here's the throw, and it is in play, and it's a good one. Down to about the 1, and it's fumbled. Able to recover, but this won't be a very good return. Down to about the 9. A good job by him to at least keep the ball in possession, but this pins the Axemen back pretty deep.
Now, if the Woo could just find a way to pull that off, just make the guy fumble the ball every time, and you're in good shape. Yeah, I think that they saw the danger that this return man, Marcelino Butler, can do. And they're trying to figure out a way to try to neutralize that attack, and maybe that's the way to do it. I have been surprised we haven't seen Vernon Sharp back there for the throw-off. It's been Solomon every time tonight, but there's got to be some strategy there if you're the Woo coaching staff.
And it might be just keeping Vernon Sharp fresh, maybe not, you know, throwing that deep. And this is a fumbled snap into the end zone. Can he get it away? And he escapes the pressure at the 10, at the 15, at the 20, 25, 20. And he gets tackled at the 20.
Wow. Another beautiful job of making something out of nothing for Joshua Murray. Fumbles a snap. He was backed about as far as he could be, backed up on this Arena League field, and he makes something out of it. Gets all the way to the 20-yard line and now into Woo territory.
We've talked about it, having athletes. He thought about throwing it, decided he was going to take it himself, escaped the tackle, had green grass down to the 20. So we just talked about that special teams play, pinned them back, but just like that, they're at the 20 in positive yardage.
There are pros and cons to every situation, whether you want to call it a pro or a con. Something like Joshua Murray stepping in here and having to play quarterback, a position that he hasn't played a lot of. The bad news, if you're the Axemen, is that, of course, you have an inexperienced quarterback back there who's just learning the playbook. The good news for them is that there's not a lot of tape for the Woo to watch on a guy like that. They don't know what to expect out of him. He really is a wild card in a lot of situations. And so even though he does have inexperience, he is still an athlete out there. As I mentioned, finished college in 2011. So he's a guy who's in his upper 30s, but has a good head on his shoulders and knows what to do when he gets the ball in his hands.
And the mental aspect of it can't age out. Here's the snap. Looking to throw, and he gets tackled as he escapes. He throws, and there's a flag on the play. We'll see which way's that going. Able to get it away.
Great pressure from the Woo front line, getting back there. Just about had him wrapped up. I thought his knee might be down. Let's take a look at this replay and see what situation might be. Yeah, his knee looked like it was down before he threw the ball.
His knee was down.
But we do have a flag on the play as well. Maybe a late hit.
Discussion happening now between the referees. We will see what. And that's an unfortunate one if you're the Woo, because it looked like his knee was down.
Yeah, they could have called. I don't know what the initial call on the field was, but yeah, you can see right there his left knee is down. And so even if it was called the incomplete pass, they would have reviewed it, would have been successful, would have been a sack. But instead, we have a penalty that's going to set the Axemen up in even better field position.
And so now the ball is placed at the 10-yard line. Maybe at the 11-yard line, a little bit of adjustment, and it'll be at the 11.25-yard line. We'll settle it there. You see some troops in the crowd. The Axemen now threatening after a disastrous penalty by the Woo. And we've seen that story before here at home in the games that we've done. Some penalties have been issues for Iowa, especially on the defensive side. They can't get off the field. Here's a snap. Looking to throw, and to nobody.
And that was a new quarterback out there. Ethan Sheaf was throwing the ball on that one, so I don't know if we saw an injury to Murray or if he's just taking a rest, but got a new quarterback in now for the Axemen.
Maybe that late hit having a little bit of an impact.
He did, when he was getting dragged down there, it looked like he may have gone down a little bit awkwardly, so maybe just getting a chance to give him a break for a few minutes, make sure he's feeling well.
So Sheaf will take over.
Same walking around. There's number 4 on the sideline, walking back and forth.
Here's the snap. Pressure immediately gets it away. Completed down to about the 10, and that's where he'll be stopped. Third down upcoming for the Axemen.
There's Brian Smith, another favorite target of this offense. So what can Ethan Sheaf do as he steps in here to start throwing the ball around for the Axemen? They need a response right now. The Woo took the lead. So far tonight, every time the Woo score, the Axemen have been able to respond in kind. Can Ethan Sheaf finish the job now and punch it into the end zone?
The Axemen looking for their first win of the season. Here's the snap. Third down. Sheaf with time. Dances under pressure. And he can't get it away. And it's intercepted. Intercepted. And he'll take it to the crib. Pick 6 Woo.
That'll be Stephon Chapman with a pick 6 for the Woo. Another beautiful defensive play from Chapman, who's had a great outing tonight for the Woo. Put 6 more on the board. That's exactly what they needed. Not just a defensive stop, not just an interception, but 6 points out of defense. Hopefully, if you're a Woo fan, start putting this game away.
32-18 your score. And just a mistake by Sheaf. Was third down, he could have thrown it away, had another opportunity at it, tried to make something happen.
Well, that'll be the storyline now going forward, is what do we see from the quarterback side for the Axemen? Is Sheaf going to be back out there? Is Murray going to be back out there? Does he have an injury that's going to keep him out of the rest of this game? So much inexperience, you don't want to say under center, but behind center for the Axemen, and that could be the storyline for the final 2.5 quarters of this game.
So Sharp and the Woo take over at the 10 for the 2-point conversion after the pick 6. The throw to the end zone.
Wow.
Did he get it? Yes, he did. What a catch in the back of the end zone for 2.
Kai Von Smith, there he is again, the second-year man with the Woo, with a beautiful job of just climbing the ladder, going upstairs, catching a ball that was thrown a little bit high, doing beautiful work there for a second straight conversion attempt successfully. Now the Woo are starting to figure some things out on offense. You're taking a 2-possession lead.
And I will say, regardless of the interceptions, Vern Sharp has had 2 this game, but he's just looked more confident. I think that's the biggest thing he's had. You know, when he's accurate, he's accurate. Look at that throw, right above the defender. Beautiful stuff. 2 defenders he had to throw it over. Man, just great pass, just great zip on it. That's stuff that we didn't see the first 2 weeks at home in front of the Woo faithful. We just didn't see that kind of confidence. And now it really looks like he's locked in, ready to go.
Gets to the point now where he maybe, once you start to see yourself have success, like he did last week with his 7-touchdown, 1-interception performance, even after he throws a couple early picks like he does tonight, he knows that talent is within him, that he can do well and he can recover.
Here's the throw off. Throwing it to the 5. And a big hit! Absolutely crushed. You could hear that from the moon.
Ragria Lewis, another recent addition to the lineup. Holy Moses, what a hit. They've done so well when they actually throw the ball in bounds on these throw-off attempts. I think we need to have a new strategy here. Just keep the ball in bounds. They've done great when they keep it within the field of play. Wow, just laying the thunder on that return.
So now the drive starts a tick behind the 5. And a timeout will be called. We'll see by who. Iowa will call a timeout here with 7:13 to go in the second quarter.
Important possession here for both sides. If the Woo can come up with a stop here and get the ball back without giving up any points, that could be the tipping point in this game where things really start to fall in their favor, because obviously the Axemen can't stop them too much on defense. So if they can hold the 2-possession lead and then get the ball back without giving up any points, that's big in their favor. And so if you are the Axemen right now, you know that this is an important drive where you're going to want to score the ball. You really cannot fall behind. You're already down 16 points. You cannot fall behind any further in a game like this. In the Arena League, it's so hard when you get behind by 3 possessions to come back from that. That is really tough. And so right now, this is an important possession for both teams.
And an important note, it looks like Ethan Sheaf is on the sideline. So I would assume as if Joshua Murray will be back in. You can't quite see from our vantage point.
Yep.
It's important to note, too, on that hit, we are very far away from the field of play. In the press box inside the Unidome, again, this field is, as you can see in your wide camera shots, you can see the UNI field, meant for a quite large-scale version of football, that one we aren't seeing right now today. We could hear that hit, and it was dangerous.
That was beautiful.
So after the timeout, first down play for the Axemen. And Liz Murray, and he's tripped up. Did he get out of the end zone? We'll see what the call is. It's close.
Take a look at the replay we have on your screen.
And it is called a safety on the field.
That was Ragria Lewis, 24, who just laid the big hit on that return. He was the guy who got to the quarterback, got a hand on his knee, pulled him down. Great, 2 great, just back-to-back defensive plays by number 24, Ragria Lewis, a new guy to the roster.
And they're going to take a look at it.
There he is. You see him get a hand on the hip, just a left hand on the ankle, and that's what seals it. You see his rear end is the first thing that touches the ground. It looks like the ball is still within the line of the end zone, which would mean it was a safety. I think that's what they're kind of looking at to see, was the ball past the end zone, and in which case they would just put it at the 1-yard line. But that looked pretty clear to me.
And after review, it is upheld. It is a safety. 36-18 your score. The Woo add 2 more on. Again, to talk about how important this game is for the Iowa Woo, right? If they win today, it's their first win at home. Obviously, big morale boost for this franchise, for the fans who have come and support. But they still have a, mind you, outside shot, but a shot to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have to win tonight. They have to win next week, next Sunday against Nebraska. Mind you, a team they took to the brink a couple weeks back. St. Joseph, who they beat a few weeks ago on the road trip, they would have to lose both of their games. Both teams would be at 4-4, and that would give the Woo a chance to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, they know that there's some outside sources that are going to need to help them out if they're going to get in the postseason. But at this point, all you can do is put your best performance on the field and try to get a win.
So here's the throw by Eau Claire. It's taken in at the 1. The man who's been doing it all day at the 15. He's running at the 25, 20, 15. And down, we'll see where we call him down.
Trayvon Colbert, there he is again. This has been a masterclass in how to return the ball. Putting some incredible tape out there for a team that might want to pick this guy up. This guy has been a magician returning the ball tonight. Wow.
And he will be called down at the 19-yard line, so a positive start for the Woo here.
I don't think there has been a drive yet where they have started the ball within their own territory, I don't believe. I think that every single throw-off return has been, I think, returned past even the 20-yard line even of the opponent. He's been the key to every good thing that's come to the Woo tonight, just because he's setting them up with a short field every single time.
And one thing we've seen in this game that we didn't see in the Woo's previous games here at home is all 3 phases playing complementary football, right? Special teams, defense, and offense playing together. And that's a winning formula in a lot of games, especially must-win games like tonight.
And we've seen touchdowns on all 3 phases. We've seen
Certainly helps. Certainly helps.
We've seen a pick 6. We've seen a throw-off return for a touchdown. We've seen offensive touchdowns. Just everything going well for the Woo so far. And we weren't sure after I saw the Axemen score 3 touchdowns in their first few drives. I thought that this might just turn into an offensive shootout. Didn't know if the defense would show up, but boy, the last couple drives, the defense has been outstanding for the Woo, resulting in points each time for the Woo, with a pick 6, then with a big hit on the kick return, throw-off return, and then with the safety, producing in such a big way as a defense.
When you look at Eau Claire, what do you think the answer is at this point? You're down multiple scores. It's still not over. You have 6:14 left in the second quarter. This game moves very quickly. We've seen it happen.
Yeah.
What's the answer right now?
Yeah, it's tough. I just got done saying about how hard it is to come back from a 3-possession lead, and that is exactly what the hole is that they're in right now. And so it does start with, I mean, as the coaches love to give the cliche about 1 play at a time, that's what it is, where you just try to come up with a stop. Vernon Sharp, as they know, has had some turnover issues throughout the season, and so they're just hoping for anything that could go in their favor. Maybe an interception that they can return for a touchdown. Just finding a way to stop the Woo from scoring.
The option play, and the receiver keeps going. He's tumbling in. Where will he be tackled down at? We'll see. He kept rumbling down the side, close to the wall.
That was Kyvon Smith. He's been the other big playmaker. Kyvon Smith, Trayvon Colbert have been huge today for the Woo.
They're going to mark it down at the 5. So a 15-yard gain on the play, just rumbling, fighting for extra yardage.
I thought that was just going to be maybe a 2-3 yard pickup, but Kyvon Smith just kept driving those legs, getting closer to the end zone. Oh, what a beautiful football. That's just a thing of beauty. Love that powder blue.
1st and goal. Sharp into the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Woo.
That was Trayvon Colbert, the man who has been doing so well on the throw-off return game, now catching passes for a touchdown. He has been the MVP of this first half. Unbelievable performance by Trayvon Colbert so far. And that stretches the lead now again for the Woos. They're going to try to tack a couple more points on the board.
Throwing that ball right in the breadbasket. Good pass by Sharp. 42-18 your score. And the Woo are starting to pull away even further. The Woo have 2 successful 2-point conversions. Will they get a third? Here's the snap. Under pressure. Escapes is Sharp. Throw to the end zone. Incomplete. A laser that goes off the back wall. Incomplete.
And as this game ticks on now in the second quarter, we go into a 26-point lead now for the Woo. So what was a 3-possession deficit is now a 4-possession deficit for the Eau Claire Axemen. Bad becomes worse for the fans of Eau Claire, and this is a part where it's hard not to get dispirited if you're the Axemen, because you're winless in the season. You come on the road just trying to pick up some sort of positive momentum. You're going toe-to-toe with the Woo for the first quarter. It's 18-18, and then it just felt like a matter of minutes where things started to tip in the other team's favor. It's the pick 6. It's the strong kickoff, throw-off returns. It's going to take me a while to get that out of my lexicon. It's given up the safety. Things start to fall against you, and it's hard to mentally recover from something like that.
I feel like if you ever cover actual football, you're going to start saying throw-offs instead of kickoffs at some point. You know, I think it's important to take a look at the numbers, right? We look at Eau Claire's numbers coming into today. They just haven't had a lot of defensive plays to force turnovers. They only forced 6 on the season coming into today. And frankly, that's not good enough in a league like this, where there are a lot of opportunities. A big hit takes him down to the 5. There's laundry flying all over the place. There's helmets off. A lot happened on that play.
That looked like it might have been Rogria Lewis again, the guy who had the big hit last time on the throw-off return. Coming in with a huge stick once again. We see Butler bobble the return. Helmet comes off. This might be a penalty on the Woo because a guy tackled him after his helmet came off. Once a helmet comes off, generally, I assume this rule carries over from gridiron football to the Arena League, that you're kind of supposed to just let it go after that at that point.
And that is what will be called 15-yard penalty against the Woo in favor of the Axemen, and they'll get favorable position now to start their drive.
Too bad for the Woo, because that was Rogria Lewis coming with another huge stick that would have put them at about the 5-yard line again. Another chance to come up with a defensive stop. Instead, there is a little bit of a momentum shift here where Eau Claire at least has the ball in somewhat favorable territory to start trying to put something together.
You know, when we look at game per game, right? All of their games are 0-6, but let's look at those 6 scores. They've scored 32, 25, 38, 27, 30, and 28. They've done the offensive part. 23 passing touchdowns, 15 interceptions, to a total of just over 1,000 passing yards and 271 rushing yards. They've done the work offensively. They just haven't gotten the stops on the defensive side.
And unfortunately, a lot of those passing yards came off the hand of somebody else that is injured and can't even play.
That's a good
anymore.
point.
So that's where they're trying to recover right now with Joshua Murray.
Murray takes the snap on first down. The pass, is that complete? No, incomplete. Both men fighting for it. Could have gone either way, but goes the other third way. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, Murray just trying to hold things together at this point. We saw him have to take a drive off, and that, of course, didn't end well for the Axemen. Now Murray trying to keep things together because, as you mentioned, as you were talking through some of the point totals that they've reached each year, they can score points, and that's all that you can do at this point. Is if you're playing offense, all you can do is try to get in the end zone. So just one play at a time, trying to find some ways to find 6 more.
Just passing 4 minutes left in the first half, and what has been a first half to forget for Eau Claire. The second down. Murray takes off. He'll get tackled down about the 25, but he was outside the run lane by about a lot. Let's just say that.
Ty Anderson hoping to come up with another sack there for the Woo, or at least another tackle, but he's not going to get credited for that after the penalty on the Axemen. Great way to sling him down there by Anderson. Following the ball well against an athletic player like Murray, but it's going to be coming back regardless. As we talk about that muscle memory, again, that's just another point where you think Murray's like, hey, I've got the ball and I can move anywhere with it, but kind of forgetting you have to stay, as we'll remind the viewer too, stay within those hash marks when you're still behind the line of scrimmage. Once you pass the line of scrimmage, you can go wherever you want, but once you're behind it, if you're going to cross it, it has to be within those hash marks.
Absolutely. It's a thing that, you know, is kind of exclusive to this league, but it's important to remember, you know, if you're tuning in for the first time or haven't seen an Arena League game. So second down and very long coming up for the Axemen. After the penalty, Murray stays within the run lane, looking to get away. He passes it off to the big fella. He gets about 1 or 2 yards.
Thaddeus Tolliver. Got to give him credit for being ready for that one. His quarterback was going down for a tackle. Just give him the ball, and then he gets lit up by number 18 for the Woo, Jay Wright, bringing him down.
I will say this. I want nothing more than that man to run the ball into the end zone.
Let's see him get it again.
I want to see it happen. I think a lot of the viewers can agree. Big men touchdowns, best thing to ever happen to the game of football. So it's third down now. And third down, probably the distance between these two cities. Receiver in motion. Murray looking to throw. Deep pass and goes out of play. Fourth down coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough situation anytime we see a third and long scenario for Eau Claire, because with a guy like Joshua Murray, he's a man who can make plays on his feet, but you just are probably not going to get much success when it's a 3rd and 20 situation. You just can't do anything but throw the ball, and he doesn't have a lot of practice throwing the ball. He's doing his best out there trying to hold things together for this team, but it's tough to keep this together.
So fourth down, and the Axemen will decide to surrender. Remember, no punts in this game, so the options are go for it or surrender, and the ball goes to the other team at the 15, and they have chosen to surrender.
Yeah.
So the Woo will take over at the 15.
I think we have the chain gang trying to get themselves sorted out here. There we go. Sometimes the chain gang even needs a little bit of help trying to figure out the new rules of this game. The surrendering is something to get used to as well. Just we haven't even seen it happen tonight because teams have all been scoring on just about every possession, but surrender the ball and the other team just takes it at the 15-yard line.
So first down, Sharp takes the play, has the pocket, looks over the middle, completed. Down to about the 20, or excuse me, the 19-yard lines where it'll be marked down. A great throw, threads the needle.
Harold Brooks on the receiving end of that pass again. He's made some really nice catches tonight for his first time on the Woo roster.
So quickly a first down. Sharp takes the snap about the 25. Clean pocket again. Looks to escape. Throws completed. I believe that's Colbert again. Yes, it is. Trayvon Colbert with another completion. Gets it down to about the 13-yard line. Second down.
Something I'd love to be tracking at this point too is Vernon Sharp's completion percentage, because yes, he's not perfect. He's had some overthrows and he's thrown a couple interceptions early, but he really has cleaned things up so well that he's putting the ball in the receiver's hands at this point. His completion percentage is going to be off the charts for this game because he's starting to really pile up his stats.
So we head to the 2-minute warning. The Iowa Woo looking to add on to their large lead as we head to the end of the first half. You're watching the Arena League. We'll be right back. Back here, on the other side of the 2-minute warning, and everybody decided to go a little bit early on us. So it's 3rd down, Vernon Sharp with a short little rush for 1 or 2 yards. Apologies for the missed play. Now 3rd down for the Woo.
There's an opportunity for the Woo to pad the lead a little bit more. You know they'd love to go into the halftime break with just a little bit more momentum.
Sharp looking for the end zone. Incomplete. Touched the ground. Couldn't get his arms under it. Incomplete. 4th down coming up.
And the beauty of this game is that when you know it gets forced down, there's no question about how they're going to proceed. There's no point in surrendering the ball at this juncture, obviously. So it's going to be a 4th down, and you're going to go for it every single time. Question is, do you decide to throw the ball or do you run if you're Vernon Sharp? He has had some success by using the legs tonight. This could be an opportunity for him to show off his speed just a little bit more.
They can get a 1st down without scoring. 1st down marker sitting about the 8-yard line. 4th and about 3.
Axemen bringing pressure.
What will Sharp do? Receiver in motion. 4th down. Big moment for the Axemen. A throw intercepted in the end zone. Flag on the play.
Might see a PI here.
And we'll see which way it goes. It looks like
I think that might be number 7, Richie Murphy for the Axemen with a possible pass interference. We'll see what the officials have to say about this one.
Sharp giving some stern talk to a receiver. We'll see what the laundry is all about.
Okay.
And it was
No
holding
PI,
on
but a
the
hold.
defense.
Yep.
Number 7, Richie Murphy. I mentioned him earlier in the game. I want to give him a shout out. I know team's down right now, but Richie Murphy with a very successful YouTube channel. Makes some really great content.
Yeah,
Shout out Richie Murphy.
It's kind of following, like, vlogging these games. Is that right? You were kind of
Yeah.
explaining to me what his content there. I'm not a big YouTube guy, so you got to tell me a little bit about what he's producing there.
Yeah, one of the more popular players in the league. They certainly earned it. Haven't seen much of him in this game, and fortunately the first time we hear his name is in a negative sense.
Yep.
Here's the play, and that's sacked. Sharp down at the 20.
It's about a 25-yard sack. That'll do the job if you're the Axemen. But that was a 1st down after the penalty. The Woo were given a 1st down, so they're going to continue to at least hold on to the ball and still try to produce something here. If they want. No need to really rush anything if you're wanting to go into the halftime break, just holding your 42-18 lead, but might have to run at least one more play here.
So 2nd down. And a lot for Sharp. Takes a snap at the 15. Under pressure immediately. Escapes. Looking for a man. He'll release. And it hits a kid in the face. Out of play. Incomplete.
And we got 3 seconds left on the clock.
That kid's down on the ground. There's 3 seconds left. I have to.
How's he doing? Do we need some medical services for the kid that got drilled in the grill?
That was not very pretty.
Got some adult supervision coming over, just making sure that he's okay.
He's walking.
Oh, he's
off.
up.
He's off.
And he's
off.
up and about. At least give that kid the football.
Right?
Hold
You
on
gotta
to
get that.
thing.
Gotta get that kid a shirt or something. Or
And the Woo are going to try for a conversion here with 3 seconds left in the half.
time has run out. Sharp releases to the end zone. Incomplete, batted down by the defense, and there's a flag on the play. Hold on just a minute, folks. Can't head to the half just yet.
And we'll see if this is on the Woo, then we're probably just going to go straight to halftime. But if it's on the Axemen, then we might see one more play out of the Woo before we officially head to halftime.
Zeros on the clock, but here's the call. And the penalty is declined, and that is half. So the Iowa Woo end things on a penalty, but they have a commanding lead as we head into halftime. 42-18 your score, Iowa over Eau Claire. We'll be right back with some stats and highlights after the break. You're watching the Arena League.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
Garage beer saved my life. It's 30 years ago today.
A lot of predators in this jungle.
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
It is halftime in Cedar Falls, and the Iowa Woo have a commanding 42-18 lead over the Eau Claire Axemen. Owen Seabrig, and I'm Jason Stivers here with you. That first half had a little bit of everything, some offense, defense, and special teams, a little bit of shenanigans, everything mixed in there.
Yeah, and we've got men in eagle hats along us. Yeah, I was tied at 18 at one point. It's hard to believe at this point that at one point this game was tied. Each team had scored 3 touchdowns, and we were tied at 18, but then the Woo came back to score 26 unanswered points, and now it just feels like they have a commanding lead that, I don't know, I'm not going to say the game's over because I wanted the viewers to tune in and watch the full second half with us, but boy, this is a commanding 4-possession lead right now for the Woo.
And, you know, a good point, too, this league, you know, we score so fast, right? We saw a lot of scoring in the first, 5-10 minutes of that game, so it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. An 18-42 deficit can turn into a lead. So, still a lot of football left to be played, still a lot of time, and the Eau Claire Axemen still have chances to come back in this one.
There's a lot of things that would need to tip in their favor. Joshua Murray, he would need to keep playing well at quarterback. They would need to not turn the ball over, and they would need to hope that Vernon Sharp starts throwing some interceptions. Vernon Sharp been so good today, so he would have to have a really catastrophic second half for the Axemen to get back into this thing. You never know with the Arena League because points do come in a hurry. We saw, I think, 4 touchdowns scored in the first about 2.5 minutes of this game, so anything can happen, but the Woo right now looking really good to take one step closer to possibly getting into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and a positive score on the other end. The St. Joe's Goats go into halftime down against Nebraska. The St. Joe Goats do need to lose both their next games for the Woo, and the Woo need to win tonight, obviously, and win next week against Nebraska. Going to be a tall task for them to have a chance to go into the playoffs. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll look at some first half stats. You're watching the Arena League. Back here in Cedar Falls, 42-18 your score. The Woo hold a commanding lead over the Axemen as we take a look at some first half stats in the first half. The Woo have had a commanding lead in total yards, 158 for the Woo, 136 through the air. They've had 8 first downs, and Eau Claire has 103 total yards. What do you think so far about Eau Claire and Iowa?
Well, the stat breakdown is really interesting because there are some areas in which it lines up really evenly and others where there is a wide deficit. One is the turnovers. Right now, just 1 turnover for each team, which you think, wow, this must be a pretty even game so far. But the Woo were able to turn that 1 turnover into a touchdown, and the Axemen were not. And so I think that, the tail of the game really comes down to the yardage and the first downs. Right now, Eau Claire has converted 4 first downs. The Woo are double that at 8 first downs at this point in the matchup. And so this is a game that has been dictated by the Woo's ability to just convert and keep moving the ball down the field, even largely on the efforts of their return man, Trayvon Colbert, who's been outstanding out there. He's given them a short field almost every time. But their ability, even when it's not a short field, or even when they're at the 20-yard line, ability to keep grinding, keep moving the ball down the field, and keep picking up yardage seemingly every play. Only a couple of negative plays so far for the Woo.
Absolutely. Still a lot of time left. Still a lot of time left in halftime. When we come back, we'll show you some first half highlights. After that, we'll get into the second half. You're watching the Arena League. We'll be right back. Back here in Cedar Falls. 42-18 your score, Iowa Woo over the Axemen. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. There were lots to choose from.
There was no shortage of them in a 42-18 matchup so far. The highlights were coming fast and loose. I think I said before the game that we'd see touchdowns on just about every offensive drive for the Woo, and that is nearly what we've gotten every single time. An early touchdown there from number 8, Harold Brooks, the new guy on the roster, got the scoring started. The Axemen came back on their first offensive play of the game. Murray hit number 15, Brian Sandeifer for a touchdown. That tied it up early, and we thought, well, maybe we're in for an offensive shootout. And then special teams comes to play. Trayvon Colbert back on the shadow of his own end zone. Nearly went untouched on this, honestly. One guy, I think, got a hand on him, but then kick return with Mark Woodley. And again, with some beautiful highlights that he's going to be seeing there tonight on KWWL Channel 7. Colbert has been the star of the first half with just a beautiful return game at this point, setting them up with positive territory every single time.
Look at the Axemen. They had some highlights as well. but this one was not one of them.
That was the interception there by number 15, Khalil Smith, the one that was rolling off his back that he got as a pick. After another Axemen interception, the Woo responded in kind. That was just a wide open catch for Kyvon Smith.
We've said it, Vernon Sharp just looks comfortable in this game. I think that's the most important, as we see an Axemen touchdown.
And that was the last time they found the end zone tonight. At that point, it was 18-18. Chucky rearing his ugly head. We thought that maybe this was going to be a back and forth shootout, but then Vernon Sharp just started directing traffic and finding everything that he possibly could get. Trey Henderson, one of the best receivers on this team, talking a little junk as he made the touchdown catch over Richie Murphy in the end zone. And then it was the pick. Number 4, Stephon Chapman, bringing that one back for 6 points on the defensive side. At that point, we saw touchdowns for the Woo on all 3 phases of the game. Then another touchdown pass from Sharp to Trayvon Colbert, who's been getting great on special teams, great on offense too.
We'll take a break. When we come back, the start of the second half. And I'll say this, Chucky, in July? We'll be right back. You're watching the Arena League.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
The neighbors just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
Welcome back to Cedar Falls. Your score is 42, Iowa, 18, Eau Claire. As we are mere moments away from getting started in the second half of what has been a explosive game on one end. Really started for both teams explosive. As we take a look at our halftime stats here, you can see the stark difference, especially in those passing yards, 136 to 53. Right, when you have a converted wide receiver in the backfield, that kind of makes sense to see that.
And that's why you see the passing and the rushing yards for Eau Claire being just about equal at this point, 53 and 50. So they are outgaining the Woo in that regard. They've got 28 more rushing yards than they do, but the Woo have had no need to keep the ball on the ground, frankly. As good of a quarterback as Vernon Sharp is, and as good of a runner as he is, he's again second in the league in rushing yards this season. He hasn't really had to run the ball because he's been so effective through the air, and his receivers, even though they're without 2 of their top 3 receivers, they've been great on the passing game tonight and the special teams game, of course. We don't see those stats here, but Trayvon Colbert bringing the ball back every single time on the throw-off returns. That's really been the difference today.
I mean, as great as Vernon Sharp has been, Trayvon Colbert, the MVP of the first half,
Truly.
undoubtedly.
Truly.
I mean, you think about his returns, obviously had the return touchdown, but also just getting Iowa set up in positions to score. That's the biggest thing when you're on special teams, is setting your team up in a good position at any level is so important, and he's done that very well tonight.
I mean, I'm coming out of a job where I was doing a lot of Iowa Hawkeye coverage, and that is exactly what we saw last year. If you're a Hawkeye fan, you saw a lot of Caden Weegan do exactly that for the Iowa Hawkeyes, where he impacted so many games in such a big way just by returning the ball and getting them into positive territory. Even if they weren't going to score a lot of touchdowns, the field goals were going to be there, or at least it was putting the defense in a position where they were going to have a short field. So a guy who is an effective return man, that really can impact the outcome of a game.
You've seen that years before with Cooper DeJean, now playing in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champ.
Yep.
You've seen that, you know, it's so important, and it's kind of an underrated part of the game, right? You think about offense, you think about defense, those are the, you know, important things, right? Not really. The special teams is just as important, honestly, if not more. Getting your team set up in a position to win is the job of special teams, and they've done that so well tonight for the Woo. 42-18, your score as we head into the start of the second half.
And it's going to be a tough second half coming out for this Eau Claire team. Already down 42-18. You had it tied at one point, and then in the second quarter by giving up 26 unanswered points. Just don't know how this team is going to respond after that. Maybe they got a great speech at halftime. Maybe Joshua Murray comes out and starts slinging it, but boy, you really do just have to come out and start hoping for something to go your way. And they are going to get the ball first. It looks like I see Frankie Solomon back there in the end zone, so he's going to be the one throwing the ball to the Axemen, so they start the half on offense, but they need a touchdown and a two-point conversion in the absolute worst way. They need to be perfect on every single offensive drive from this point forward.
As they take the field, the Axemen do. The Axemen have 30 minutes to overcome a large deficit and get their first win of the season against an Iowa team that got their first win of the season against Eau Claire and their home turf.
And as we've seen tonight, as we've spoken about at halftime, Iowa Woo still in the chase for a playoff hunt. They need St. Joseph to lose tonight. They're down. They right now are down by 7 to the Nebraska Siege at the break, and so Iowa Woo just hoping for a loss by St. Joe. And if they get a win tonight, then they're going to go in the final week of the regular season with a shot at the postseason.
Here's the throw off, and it's a good one. Down to about the 2. Receiver takes it. He's off and running. Gets tackled down. Tried to leap a defender, but stepped onto another one down at about the 15-yard line.
And I think there was Rogria Lewis again with the tackle for the Woo. If we've seen the offense and the special teams MVP, Rogria Lewis certainly has been the defensive MVP for the Woo. He's come up with a safety, a big hit on special teams, gets another big tackle there. He's been so clutch for this team on the defensive side of the ball as they've continued to put heavy, heavy pressure on Joshua Murray, who's just trying to do anything to keep his team in this game.
So Murray lines up in the backfield. A quick update for Woo fans. 39-38 the score in that game. Nebraska leads by 1. First play, nothing doing for the Axemen. They're taken down right away. No gain on the play. Second down coming up.
I think that was number 25, Ty Anderson, the first one to start slowing things down. And I do start to wonder as well if Eau Claire is already getting close to desperation mode, where will we ever see them surrender the ball again, or are they going to be going for it on every single fourth down from this point forward? Because down in a 4-possession deficit in the second half of a game in the Arena League, you're going to need to start pulling out all the stops.
Empty backfield. The throw completed to the big man. Down and about the 17, maybe 18.
And there's Ethan Sheaf coming back in at quarterback. Maybe he's the guy that these team trusts to do something on offense. Akeem Peterson, the man on the receiving end of that thing. Big guy. Gosh, he is so tough. You'd love to see him get his hands on the ball a little bit more. He seems like a guy who could start rumbling down the field a little bit. And now Ethan Sheaf, we're going to see what this guy can do with the ball in his hands.
I said it once in the first half. I'll say it again here. Big men touchdowns. We want it. The people want it. They need it. Here we go. Third down. Sheaf under pressure, gets it away, and flags on the play.
I think we're going to see a face mask here on that one, but Stephon Chapman nearly got his hands on what would have been a sure pick 6 again, but I think this one is going to go against the Woo. Look like they might have gotten a hold of Sheaf's face mask on the play.
And that is the call. Face mask against the Woo. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Axemen.
Whatever it takes for the Axemen.
They'll take it.
They want to get the ball moving down the field. If that takes a face mask to Sheaf, they'll accept that as a way to keep the ball moving.
You know, when we talk about the differences between arena football and your normal gridiron football usually played here in the Unidome. One of the biggest differences is the field's so small, right? 25-yard line is the midfield in this game. So a 15-yard penalty puts them almost in the red zone.
It really flips the field a lot, just a 15-yard penalty.
So Sheaf with a man in the backfield. Hands it off. Rumbling down to the 15 where he'll be stopped.
Ethan Skarmas. Great player offensively and defensively, getting a chance to get his hands on the ball there. Ethan Skarmas, he played his college ball at Lyon College, and he actually set his college's program record for career sacks and sacks in a season. This guy plays well on defense, and that's part of the Arena League allure as well. Is there are some guys who will play on both sides of the ball, kind of a platoon system, and Skarmas is one of them.
Second down pass completed. Down about the 9-yard line. Not enough for first. Actually, that's going to be enough for first down yardage. First and goal coming up.
And who was that with the catch? That would be Joshua Murray, the quarterback of the first half. So maybe the Axemen trying to switch things up here, just put something new in play where they can hopefully find a little bit of rhythm. Instead of Murray as a QB, maybe put Sheaf in there, see if Murray can make some moves as a receiver now.
We've seen his speed in the game, so this makes sense. This is a smart move coming out of the half. You know, gets you a different look against this defense. We've seen his speed. Can Sheaf fill in as quarterback? Here's the throw. Completed. And tackled down about the 5-yard line. Get him down about the 4.
Brian Sandifer on the receiving end of that one. He's another product of UW Stout, who's put a couple of players on his roster. Richie Murphy is another one of them. UW Stout, one of those great Division III programs they have in Wisconsin. They love arena ball in Iowa, and they love D3 football in Wisconsin. UW Stout, one of the programs that state really is proud of.
And if you're from Iowa, you go to a smaller high school in Iowa, arena football is much like 8-man. As that Sheaf goes down. An ankle tackle for the sack.
Another beauty on the defensive side of the football. Not even one of the big guys from the front line, but somebody just blitzing right out of the backfield, coming in there for the sack. Just another great defensive play there for the Woo. Put up another sack on the board.
Due up.
Jamie Vicente Colon. I was trying to track the number there, but that was number 21. Jamie Vicente Colon with the sack. Another sack. Even though the Woo are towards the bottom of the league standings in terms of their record, they are towards the top of the league in sacks. They've been a defensive monster this season.
Third down, Sheaf. Clean pocket, throws, tipped and incomplete. Good defensive play by the Woo to tip that away, and fourth down upcoming. Surely they're going to go for it here.
I think so, and yeah, looks like everybody's all right on the Woo. Look like there are a couple guys down there, but certainly a fourth down attempt coming up here. Huge play for the momentum of this game. If the Woo come up with a stop here, they know that they've got a lot riding in their favor at that point.
So fourth down, about the 9-yard line. This is a big moment for the Axemen if they want to build a comeback. Starts here. Sheaf in the backfield. Murray in motion, and flags coming all over the place, and that's going to be a false start on Murray.
Murray, you know, after playing quarterback most of the game, you gotta give the guy a little bit of grace if he's gonna be running in motion now in a false start scenario. You know, the guy's doing a lot for his team today. That's a tough one.
I think calling that obvious would be a bit of an understatement on that.
It's hard for Sheaf too. I mean, he too is getting used to the cadence of the game. Starting to figure out the timing, because this is a game where the pre-snap stuff is so hard to figure out the time when you have a man in motion like this every time.
Fourth down, Sheaf. Under pressure, throw to the end zone. Nobody there, incomplete, and a turnover on downs. The Woo will take over.
That's a kid who just got hit in the face with the football earlier. He's the one who came up with the football on that one. Good for him.
Good for him.
Good ending to the night for that fella.
We didn't get it. I don't believe we got it on video, and I wouldn't want to show it again, obviously. He got a hard hit. He took a hard hit to the head. You look here at the incomplete.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit of a tip on that by a Woo player. Maybe just
more defensive pressure, and that's one of those things where the defensive pressure from the front line is what helps create the incompletion down the field. That's what they have done so well this season. The Woo have been a constant presence in the backfield. If they're not getting a sack, they're putting pressure on the quarterback, putting them in a precarious situation where they're not sure what they want to do with the football. That has led to a lot of this team's success this year.
So the Woo take over at the 14. First play, throw in the middle, completed. Out to the 25. He's gonna be tackled about the 17-yard line, first down for the Woo.
There goes Harold Brooks again with another catch. He's filled in so well as his team is doing without C.J. Leggett and Leslie Owusu, two of their top receivers coming into this game. There's just been no hiccup at all in terms of this offense's production, even without two of their best receivers. A guy like Harold Brooks comes in, a guy who wasn't even on the roster a week ago.
The handoff up the gut, get about maybe 2 or 3 on the carry, down to about the 16-yard line.
I suppose you have to run the ball every now and again just to keep the defense honest, but the passing game is where the Woo have absolutely feasted tonight. I imagine they're just going to keep doing that the rest of the game. Just keep throwing the ball, and that's going to lead to more points.
And the frustrating thing for the Axemen is they really just haven't put up a fight coming to the passing game. Second down, snap, throw in the middle. A little off target for Sharp. Incomplete.
Going for Trey Henderson there, one of the best receivers across the entire Arena League on that play. Yeah, and that is tough, especially once you get to halftime and you're in the deficit that you are, and then you don't score points on your first drive of the game. It's hard not to be a downward spiral in terms of your momentum and just the spirit of this team at this point in the game. Hard to prevent yourself from letting the head down. The Axemen just know they got to keep one play at a time, but the clock is winding closer to the finish of the game. We're more than halfway through the third quarter, and it's winding to a close here before long.
Sharp on third down. Dances, looking to avoid pressure, but he won't. He'll get taken down. Thomas Lanier with the sack.
Excellent defensive play there for the Axemen, bringing down Sharp. That too, that is just the type of play that they need at this point in the game. When not a lot is going your way, you can at least come up with a defensive sack that helps you out. I think I mentioned this earlier, that there were not a lot of sacks coming into this game outside of James Dorr. I think that only 1 sack outside of him this season, but at least somebody else is able to come in and put up some production on the defensive front.
So here's an interesting situation. It's fourth down and a mile for the Woo, but they're staying on the field. They're going to go for it. Here's the snap. Good snap. Sharp looking for a man, looking to get out of pressure. He's under attack. He gets taken down. Who else? Thomas Lanier, back-to-back sacks for the turnover.
Well, and that's what can go awry when you go for on fourth down and that long. It seems like this better form of valor would have been for the Woo to surrender the ball, which would have put the Axemen back at their own 15-yard line to start the next drive. I think that's the first time since an interception from Sharp that we haven't seen the Woo score a touchdown on one of their offensive possessions. Just another great defensive stop for the Axemen, and helps maybe turn the momentum just a little bit. They're just looking for any chance they can get to help turn the momentum of this game just a little bit, and it's plays like that that help make that happen.
And frankly, a puzzling decision by Victor Mann and the Woo to go for it on fourth down in California. Ooh. First pass incomplete.
Yeah,
up in the air.
Situation where maybe a coach thinks, all right, this is the time where we just step on the throat. You know, let Sharp do what he does. Let him sling it for a first down or a touchdown. That is a gamble, but it's one that at this point in the game, when you've got a big lead, may as well try something and see if you can make it work. Didn't go well there. We'll see if Eau Claire can make something out of it.
Second down after the incomplete pass. Ryan Sanford, the intended target. That snap is bobbled. He'll take it up the gut and get a couple yards out of it. Another negative to positive play. Ethan Sheaf with the scramble, a couple yards on that play.
Good chase down tackle by Stefan Chapman, being able to be aware of what was going on. He saw the play kind of get busted, but he chased him down and prevented it from being any more of a game there from Sheaf.
So third down coming up for the Axemen. Certainly 4-down territory the rest of the way. Sheaf snapped. Under pressure, escapes, dances, throw to the end zone, and that misses. Off-target throw, fourth down.
If you want to take the little wins here and there where you can, Sheaf did make a smart decision there, just kind of throwing the ball into the ground, because he did have a man in the end zone, but there was double coverage, and if it got anywhere near that receiver, the ball was going to get picked off for sure. So just being able to bring that ball up short of the end zone, I think, was a smart play there from Sheaf. It didn't go out of bounds, but it was, I think, kind of a throwaway pass.
Fourth down and medium. For the Axemen, they're looking to crawl out of this large deficit. What will Sheaf try? Passes. Intercepted. Taken away. At the 25-20. At the 15, he's got blockers. Touchdown, Woo. Pick six, the second of the game for the Woo.
Second of the game for Khalil Smith. He was the one that made the unbelievable catch earlier where he was in front of the Channel 7 logo and the ball came off of his back, pinned it against the backboard and brought that one back as well. Khalil Smith, 2 interceptions today, 2 beautiful plays, and now he gets a touchdown as well.
Had a great return on that first interception, called back and threw the touchback this time. Gets his revenge and gets 6.
Wow. Again, everything just swinging the way of the Woo.
Get your Powerade. You've earned it.
Hard to do anything wrong at this point as they line up for another 2-point conversion.
Sharp takes the snap, under pressure. Escapes, looking for a man. And he's gonna get taken down. Incomplete.
He had crossed the line of scrimmage as he was scrambling, tried to backpedal and look for a man again, but there was just nothing much happening there. So
he was also outside the run lane, so it would have been
there's a lot going on
regardless. Just a lot happening for the Woo on that play, but this play, everything going the Woo's way on the defensive end. A great run, a great patience to wait for those blockers. He knew they were coming. Gets 1, gets 2, and gets 6 out of it.
There we go. And gets a souvenir to a fan. That's a beautiful thing. Just leave that ball over there. Of course, you got to bring a lot of footballs to these games if you're the Arena League, because every ball that ends up in the stands or ends up in the hands of somebody outside of the field of play, that goes home with them. There's no balls that are coming back in, so a lot of folks coming home with a game ball today.
48-18 your score after the pick 6.
And everything continues to go the way of the Iowa Woo. Now we've had 2 defensive touchdowns, a special teams touchdown, plenty of offensive touchdowns. We've seen a safety. A lot of points found there every way. And you like the momentum this team is going to take into the final week of the season at this point as well. Because, again, if St. Joseph does lose tonight, Iowa's going to go into next week with a chance to get a playoff spot.
And this throw gets down to about the 5, and we'll take a seat there. The returner tried to get it. He gets up and returns it for a big. It was an interesting play. He'll get tackled down about the 15-yard line.
That's the way to do it. Looked like the Woo, somebody from the Woo was going to come up with a tackle there inside the 5-yard line, but Eau Claire turns a nice return out of it.
So an update in that Nebraska game. St. Joseph needs to lose this game and then the game after for the Iowa Woo to have a chance. St. Joseph currently trailing 45-44. Back and forth, high-scoring affair.
It's not a lot of times that a single human in Iowa is going to root for a football team in the state of Nebraska, but tonight is a time where we need the Nebraska Siege to do well if we want to see the Iowa Woo have a chance at getting into the playoffs.
And it'll only be for 1 week. The Siege will come here and...
A red football team in Nebraska, perish the thought.
And that pass intercepted, tipped up for grabs. And the defender comes down with it. And a lob or a lateral pass. There's a lot going on in that play.
So that was Khalil Smith coming up with his 3rd interception of the night. Tossed it back to Jay Wright. How much of this will actually count? We're not sure. We're seeing a couple flags on the field. But it looks like at least there will be an interception there, if nothing else. The interception's got to stand. Maybe we might have seen a face mask happen.
I took my eyes off the monitor after the interception. I figured he'd just be down. I saw him go down, and I missed a whole lot.
Yeah.
So Frankie Solomon Jr. tipped it up to his own teammate, was able to come down with the interception. Khalil Smith, his 3rd pick.
So we got an illegal block in the back after the interception. So the interception will stand. Khalil Smith's 3rd of the night. Unbelievable stat line for him tonight as well. Just when we thought we'd have the defensive MVP out of Rogria Lewis, Khalil Smith, my goodness, what a night it's been for that kid.
And Ethan Sheaf just overthrew his intended target. And throws another pick, back-to-back picks for the Axemen. Sharp passes it. He's at the 10, it will get tackled down. He was still running, but he'll get hit against the wall.
There's Trayvon Colbert on the receiving end of another pass.
Down to about the 16-yard line. So first down yardage for the Woo.
If we see another touchdown at Colbert, he might have a chance to be special teams and offensive MVP of the game. Man, that kid's just been all over the place tonight. Beautiful game for that kid.
If you're out there a scout for another indoor football team, take a look at Colbert. And the next play, Sharp able to get it away. Incomplete pass before the sack was able to get to him.
There was James Dorr coming after him again. And we see a late flag come down on the play. The ref just dropped it right as the teams are kind of coming back to their respective huddles. Let's see what this is about.
Intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding, yep, that tracks.
Second down coming up after the intentional grounding. While we heard for the official, I want to give a shout out all the officials in this game, local to the area. Shout out to the Cedar Rapids Area Official Association. If you're in Iowa wanting to train to become a referee, they are training new officials to work in Iowa high school football and lower level football games as well. Contact new FBR or FBRef at CRAOA.com.
There we go. We got to shout out our officials, our friends up here in the booth, our friends downstairs, everybody doing their best. We've talked so much about the players and the adjustments they have to make to the game and the new rules and the nuances. The refs have to do that even better than them. They've got to keep track of everything. That is a tough job that they have down there.
Sharp passes complete down to the 20 before he's wrapped up. It's going to be third down and manageable after the penalty yardage.
Here's Colbert again, another receiving him another pass, keeping his hands on the ball. Yeah, I just can't fathom that, how tough that's got to be, you know, for replay officials, for officials on the field to every play know the nuances of this very different, very unique style of football that they're playing. They've got to train so tough to know this game inside and out before they step on the field.
A lot of these guys are officiating high school games, D2, D3. So it's a tough adjustment. Third down, pass to the end zone, incomplete, nearly a highlight reel. And he took a tough hit. And that was Kyvon Smith with the intended target. Looks like he's all right, popped right up after the tough hit.
Now a decision for the Woo on fourth down. Do you surrender the ball and just give up those 5 yards to the Axemen, or do you decide to go for it again and see if you can maybe make something out of nothing here? And it's a 5-yard difference. It looks like maybe not that big of a difference, but at the same time, this is only a 50-yard field, so that's 10% of the field you're possibly giving up.
So they're going to go for it. Sharp with the snap. He's going to run it himself. Down the middle, at the 10, at the 5, he dives. Does he get it? Yes, he does. First down, Iowa.
Wow. Sharp at his finest again. One of the league's most dangerous men with the ball in his hands. He runs the ball and just gives that last little effort. That's what counted. He had the ball in the clear, just about got taken down shy of the marker to gain, but just made one last little dive, and that was a beautiful way to end the third quarter.
As we head to the end of the third quarter, the Woo are threatening again. There are 15 minutes left as we head into the end of the third. We'll be right back. You're watching the Arena League. Start of the fourth quarter, 15 minutes left. And the Iowa Woo are threatening once again with a 48-18 lead over the Eclair Axemen. Jason Stivers, Owen Sebring with you. Owen, take us bigger picture about what this game means for both teams.
Well, as we've established, both teams did have something to play for tonight. If you're the Iowa Woo, you have a chance to creep a little bit closer to playoff position. You needed to win your last 2 games if you're the Woo. But not only that, you haven't won on your home field all season, so this was a chance to at least get a win in front of your home fans at the Unidome. Looks like they're going to establish that with a 30-point lead at this point in the game and knocking on the door of another touchdown. But they also have a chance to, again, creep closer to playoff spot with 2 more losses by the St. Joseph Goats. If you're the Axemen, still grinding out that first win, they're going to return home for one last chance to get their first win next week when they host the St. Joseph Goats.
Sharp in the red zone. Under pressure immediately. He gets taken down. The ball comes out. Who comes up with it? Still on the ground. It's picked up by the big man down at about the 17. And that'll be a turnover against the Woo and for the Axemen. Man, I wanted to see him return that.
I know you've been begging for a big man touchdown all night. This game is meant to be for the fans. I had a fan sitting to my left who wanted nothing more than a big man touchdown.
Hey.
He just about got it, but didn't quite come up with it there.
So a fumble recovery. Had a tough time getting to it, but got to it, and a turnover. Hey, 14:47 left.
As we've said, you just need one positive play at a time. That was something. Now, if you're Ethan Sheaf, can you make something out of this with a short field in front of you?
Sheaf on first down. Low snap. Able to corral it. He's going to run up the gut. He has room. Down at about the 6. And they'll put him at the 6-yard line. First down.
Well, there you go. Ethan Sheaf maybe finding some rhythm as the quarterback of this team. We saw him, I think, on 1 possession in the first half, and he's been the primary QB in the second half now. So knocking on the door of the end zone, trying to get this back to within about 22 points if you can convert here and hit 2-point conversion.
Here's the snap. First down. Quick throw. Receiver wasn't paying attention. Incomplete.
But the biggest enemy of the Axemen right now is the clock. We are under 14 minutes left in this game, and even with 14 minutes left, your number of times where you're even going to have your hands on the football are going to be limited at this point. So you need to make the most of every single second that you have left in this game.
Clock moves. 13:40 left. Can the Axemen pull a miracle and come back, pick up their first win of the season? Here's second down. Quickly thrown and quickly incomplete. Sheaf was under pressure immediately, had to get rid of it. Incomplete pass. Third down coming up.
Be a good defensive stand if the Woo could keep the Axemen out of the end zone. Their defensive pressure has been elite all night. Trying to keep it up here as we have an injured man for the Axemen down right now. I think that's, yep, Thaddeus Tolliver, number 94.
Has a reception in this game.
Yes. He's taking a little injury on that play. He's slow to get up. Nursing an arm there possibly.
You know, an underrated position in this game is that center, right? Yep. You're missing a lot of that heart of the O-line, but you still have that center. He's, an important piece. You don't want to have to take him out, get a new center in because, he's snapping the ball. Looks like he will come out here. Looks like he's walking on his own, which is obviously a great sign.
Yep.
Hopefully it's nothing too serious for Tolliver.
Now you got to find a way to fill in there in the offensive line. Already when the Woo have been hitting you with such heavy pressure from the defensive front line, now that gives them even more of an advantage with a big body missing from the front 3 there for the Axemen.
Third down. The Axemen close to pay dirt. The snap. Sheaf able to get it out in time. Incomplete. Knocked away by the defense.
That's just a great elite pass breakup there. I think that was Khalil Smith on the breakup, just putting a hand in front of it. He's got 3 interceptions tonight. Didn't try too hard to go for a 4th there. Just get your left hand in front of the ball and put them in a 4th down situation now.
4th down, the decision is obvious. They're going to go for it. We will see what they can put together. at the 6-yard line. Running is still an option here. 4th down. Throw to the end zone. Incomplete over the head of anybody. And that'll be a turnover on downs.
And I think one big factor there, especially on those last 2 plays, is that Sheaf was a little bit rushed in getting rid of the ball, and I think that was a byproduct of Thaddeus Tolliver getting taken out of the game with his injury, and just allowed the Woo front line to get to the QB a little bit faster. And those little milliseconds can make such a big difference when Sheaf is under pressure. He's feeling that clock tick a little bit more. He's feeling those guys coming at him in a little bit, and that's going to make him get the ball out of his hands a little bit faster, make him force a decision that he doesn't want to make, and that resulted in a good play there on the defense for the Woo.
You see us a little bit up there on your screen, waving at you.
Peace to my friends. What's up?
Coming into your living room. Hope you guys have enjoyed the game. It's been a fun one if you're a Woo fan. If you're an Axemen fan, it's an unfortunate one.
Not as much.
First throw completed down to about the 10-yard line.
If you're a fan of the Axemen, guess what you got to look forward to is one more chance to get a win next week. They're going to be coming back home for their final game of the season against the St. Joseph Goats. And if you are a fan of the Woo, you become a fan of the Axemen next week, because with a win tonight, the Woo would be 1 win and the St. Joseph loss away from a playoff spot.
The snap, the throw, the completion. He stays on his feet. Can't make much out of it. And a hard hit down to about the 12-yard line. 3rd down coming up.
Trayvon Colbert, even with a 30-point lead, they're still fighting for every last yard in this game. Colbert been so good in every facet of this game and fighting for every single yard out there.
48-18 your score. We hold the lead, and then on a 3rd down with just over 11 minutes left in the game. Sharp has looked really outstanding in this game. Some early mistakes, but since then he's been sharp. Here's a pass completed at the 15. He stays on his feet, breaks the tackle down to the 10. Just as I say that, Vernon Sharp once again a dot.
Finds the guy exactly when he needs to, and that's Trey Henderson, a guy who's been reliable all year. Came into this game with 147 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. After tonight, he's probably gone over 200 receiving yards on the season. Man, just a great stat line for him and for Sharp and pretty much everybody who's a receiver on this Woo team.
The snap on 1st down, the throw wide open, nobody's coming in. Touchdown Woo.
A nail in the coffin comes courtesy of Kayvon Smith, who's been another outstanding offensive weapon for this team. He's been great getting the ball in his hands tonight, and he gets another touchdown catch. Gives it to a fan in the stands as well. Beautiful game now as Iowa goes over half 100 points. 54-18 their lead now, as they're going to try to just pad that even more with a 2-point conversion attempt coming up.
Kayvon Smith, another touchdown for him on the season. Here's the 2-point. Sharp looking to pass, throws it, and incomplete. Nobody able to get to it.
On a night where just about everything has gone right for the Woo, there's one thing that I would say is something to work on in the week ahead as you go into your final week of the regular season next weekend. The conversion attempts have been so spotty. The Axemen went 0 for 3 tonight on conversion attempts. The Woo, they've converted a couple of them, but that hasn't been great. That's been an area where they have struggled, so really need to figure out how to make sure that those points count, because there are games where it becomes close. And I know even the St. Joe Nebraska game for a long time tonight has been a 1-point possession game, and so those points do add up after a point. Even just a couple of missed 2-point conversion attempts, that's 4 points. Maybe that's 6 points that could go in your favor. That's a touchdown's worth of points that you can give yourself or give up if you're not converting. And so that's one thing that they really are going to need to work on in this week ahead.
So a throw off coming with 10-12 left in the 4th quarter. The Woo 10 minutes away from home win number 1 and win number 3 on the season.
And it really would be too bad at this point if they do miss the playoffs, just because they really are seemingly hitting their stride at exactly the right point in the season. Winning now, assuming they finish this one out, this would be 3 wins in their last 4 games. Next week could be 4 or 5, but might just not be enough to make the playoffs if not everything falls into their favor. As Frankie Solomon gives some dap to the fans behind the end zone there, right before the throw-off.
Throw off hits just beyond the 10 where it needs to. And that'll pin them back. We'll see where the pin is, about the 9-yard line, maybe 9.5. So now 13:40 left in the fourth quarter in Nebraska. St. Joseph have taken the lead over the Siege. Siege 6-0, the last undefeated team. And a great touchdown by the Joes.
And that will be a dispiriting way to end the night if you're the Woo, if you see St. Joseph get a win, because you know that that means that you are out of the playoffs no matter what happens next week. So at that point in the year, you just be kind of playing for glory, playing for just getting a chance to get one more win on the board in front of your home fans. And
if you're the Iowa Woo, you know, these next 2 games, right, assuming they can win tonight, is that throw overshoots the receiver, incomplete. You know, winning these last 2 games, especially at home, in front of the home faithful, really, you know, it might not get you in the playoffs, right? It might not be exactly what you want. If you win these next 2 games, you'll be 4-4 on the year. But it's positive, right? Ending the year on something positive.
That's our most wins they would have in any season in these 3 years they've been around.
And, you know, it's your 3rd year as an organization, you're building, right? You clearly have pieces. Right now, those pieces might go. They might, you know, decide that it's time to hang it up or move to a different team. Is that pass incomplete? 3rd down coming up.
You got to speak well of Victor Mann, the 2nd-year head coach here for the Woo, who has kept this team on the straight path after they did start off the year with such struggles. They've been able to close the season well. Just do something again that has helped end the season in a positive fashion. Again, we've got 5 quarters left of the season yet to play, but just what this team has shown in the last 3-4 weeks has been something that at least they can be proud of and can put on paper for whatever is in the future of any guy on this roster.
3rd down, the pass incomplete. A lot of hand fighting, and no flags on the play. And again, next week, the Nebraska Siege will be inside the Unidome to take on the Iowa Woo. That game on Sunday afternoon instead of the usual Saturday 7:05 start time. The Dome on Saturday will play host to the Iowa Shrine Bowl, the high school all-star game in the state of Iowa. A lot of great talent has come through there, through that game. Cooper DeJean, we mentioned him earlier, played at that game. Be super excited. I'm actually helping to produce that game. That'll be a really fun one with some high-quality talent.
Excellent.
Across the state of Iowa. Some great football being played in Iowa. You don't really necessarily think of high school football in Iowa as, you know, a bastion. You know, you look at states like Texas, you know, states in the South, Florida for sure. Iowa has some really great high school talent.
Yeah, that's something that this state is proud of too. We love our arena ball. We love our high school ball, as we see another completion there for the Woo. But one thing that I always come back to about Iowa is the amount of pride we have in our high school ball shows in the amount of players that we put in the NFL. If you look at all the states that do not have an NFL team, Iowa has the 2nd most NFL players of any state in the country, second only to Alabama. They know how to produce guys to play in the NFL. Coach Kirk Ferentz at Iowa has been a huge part of that, certainly recruiting Iowa guys and turning them into NFL players. But there are guys all over the place who know how to play, as we see Trayvon Colbert get another pickup there for the Woo. There are guys who even go out of state. You look at Caden Proctor, who played at Southeast Polk in the Des Moines area. He went down to Alabama, was an All-American down there, and then was a 1st-round draft pick. Got a guy like Eli Raridan, who also played over at West Des Moines Valley, went over to Notre Dame, and now he was a draft pick as well. There's guys who even can leave the state, do well for somewhere else, and get into the NFL. Just an incredible amount of high school talent coming out of here.
1st down for Sharp. Looking for a man, going to the end zone. Almost had it, but incomplete over the wall.
Boy, that's gotta hurt.
That has got to not feel great.
It's getting sawed in half by the back barrier there for Harold Brooks, number 8.
He'll be feeling that tomorrow for sure.
Boy.
You know, when you look at, obviously, Iowa, right, often referred to as tight end U, some great Sam Laporta, great talent coming out of there. But even at the mid-major level here at UNI, obviously, as a UNI student, I'll shout out my guy, Spencer Brown.
Sure.
In the NFL, plays with the Buffalo Bills.
Another Iowa native.
Absolutely.
Came out of Lenox, Iowa, I believe, and has put together a really incredible career, honestly, with the Bills. He's been great for them. Don't think he's ever been a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro, but just one of those solid guys who stays on the offensive line and does well. Trevor Penning, another UNI grad who's trying to find his footing with the Chargers, former first-round draft pick. Highest drafted player in UNI history is Trevor Penning, and hasn't quite found his footing in the league yet. Spent a couple years with the Saints, now with the Chargers, and just trying to establish another place where he can make a home for himself.
Definitely could find a home with the Chargers. Third down. Sharp dances around, throws, and completed over the wall. Able to hold on to it. We'll see if they give him first down yardage. Won't be quite first down. It'll be a couple yards short.
Well, you know, one of the questions I asked tonight was what they were going to do with these offensive weapons. With 2 of their top 3 leading receivers out for tonight, who were they going to look to? And they have answered the bell. A guy like that, Harold Brooks, who wasn't even on the roster last week, has been outstanding for this team. We've had about 4 receivers who've just looked great every single play.
Sharp on fourth down, looking to throw. Incomplete pass. Had a man, couldn't quite hold on. Good defense.
Here's another favorite stat for you who's a UNI student, myself who's a UNI alumni. There's only one Iowa native who's in the Professional Football Hall of Fame. Is it a Hawkeye? No, it is not. Is it a Cyclone? No, it is not. It
Panther,
is
baby.
UNI alum Kurt Warner, and as we mentioned, a product of arena football. He currently is the only Iowa native who has made it to the Professional Football Hall of Fame. There's some guys coming who are former Hawkeyes who are going to be on that list before too long. Guy like, maybe you think of maybe Brandon Sheriff, Marshall Yanda. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame before too long. There are going to be guys coming like George Kittle. So there are going to be a lot more Iowa natives, especially ones who played under Kirk Ferentz for Iowa. But right now, Kurt Warner, our own proud Panther, holding it down in the Hall of Fame.
First down. Able to get out of the end zone, but taken down for a sack.
Nearly had another safety there for the fierce front line of the Iowa Woo. That was number 18, Jay Wright, getting in on that play. Puts him about 1.5 yards away from the end zone. Defensive line came to play tonight. This has been a masterclass in nearly every facet of the game for the Woo.
Kurt Warner getting inducted into the UNI Hall of Fame this coming up season. That pass is completed.
Probably not a lot of guys in NFL history who have been in the Professional Football Hall of Fame before they get in their own college's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's interesting. I saw that announcement and I was just shocked. I'm like, is he not? I looked, I'm like, he's not.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, you hear things, you kind of hear how things go, and part of it, I think, is just the fact that, like, they need to be available to be there for the Hall of Fame induction, and so he's been a busy man doing commentary and stuff for the NFL, so they kind of just had to find a year where they could have him free on a weekend where they come and induct him into the Hall of Fame. So he probably would have been in there 20 years ago. But
sure,
just need to find a free weekend for him to come and actually grace the Unidome turf for him to be inducted.
I'll say that first game against Drake in September obviously means a lot. You know, Drake, UNI, a great basketball feud. Head coach Todd Stepsis for the UNI Panthers was the coach at Drake a few seasons ago. Kurt Warner being in the building, a Kurt Warner jersey giveaway. They just announced that. It's going to be a day to be in the building. Good to see the man himself, Kurt Warner. A great football mind. Just absolutely incredible to get to listen to him talk about ball. Third down coming up for the Axemen. 4:31 left in the fourth quarter. The Woo will pick up win number 3. And Eau Claire looking for their first win of the season next week against St. Joseph. Looking downfield. Got a man, incomplete. A lot of contact and several flags on the play.
What you got to say for Eau Claire, too, is that you hope that there are better days ahead. I think they had one win last year. No wins yet this year. Going to try for that first win next weekend. And this is a community that really wants badly to have a good football team. One of the things, again, that I love about the Arena League is how much they value the fans. After their first year, they had kind of an open vote for a lot of communities across the country to see how many fans would vote for their own city to bring in a team. Eau Claire was one of those teams, one of those cities that did vote for them to be able to get one of the teams in the Arena League, one of their new franchises. And so the fans can show up. They really want to have a team that's successful there. They haven't been able to see a whole lot of wins yet, just one win so far in franchise history, but a team that, as long as the community keeps showing up and the team keeps getting better, might have some success eventually, because that's a community that wants it badly.
And one of the things about Eau Claire to be looking forward to, there's a lot of young guys in this team. We talk about the Arena League kind of as a twofold league, right? You have a lot of guys who are a bit older, right? You look at the Iowa roster, you have a lot of guys who in their mid-30s. As a sack there on
Ty
first
Anderson
down.
bringing him down.
Have a lot of guys who are, in their 30s, looking to still play, looking to show that they can still do it. And then you have a lot of younger guys who are looking for their opportunities. And Eau Claire has a lot of those kind of guys, right? Guys who still all have a lot left in the tank, have the athletic, have the physical aspect, who just haven't had the opportunity. And I think if you keep finding those people, you can really build a program around those guys and find a way to get some wins in, a season or two's time.
Yep. And that's especially true as we see another sack and another fumble and another scoop. Can we see another defensive score? No.
And a double fumble, and I believe the Woo come out with that one.
It's Jamie Vicente Colon, who's had a nice defensive game as well, giving it right back to the Woo. But yeah, when you have a guy like Jim Britton as your head coach, he's been a man who's been around the game for over 4 decades. 46 years this man's been in coaching, and finally gets a head coaching gig this year. He said it was a dream come true to be a head coach of a football team, and so he's got the mind, he's got the temperament, he's the right kind of guy to point this team in the right direction. It's just a matter of taking those steps to eventually get there. They've got, like you say, they've got the guys there who can do it. Just have to put the pieces together eventually, and as long as the fan support and the support from the organization and the league is there, eventually you can get it turned around. It's just a matter of time.
First down for the Woo. Sharp in the backfield, receiver in motion. Looking for more. Caught, touchdown Woo.
There's another one for Kayvon Smith. He's had a few of them tonight. One of the stars of this team, stars of the league, a guy who's just been outstanding tonight and now gets the Woo over the 60-point barrier. Unbelievable offensive attack tonight for the Woo, as their lead stretches now to 42 points. 42 unanswered points for the Woo, who were at one point tied at 18, and that has changed a lot over the last hour.
A 2-point conversion would give them the highest point total this year. Goes incomplete, out of play, into a cheerleader who fights with a little child for it. I believe the little child came up on top of that battle.
Yep.
Frankly, if the cheerleader did, that'd be a little rude.
Yeah, he's been great, as has every offensive player this game, man. Stat lines across the board have been outstanding tonight for the Woo. Of course, Vernon Sharp has been great. Of course, Trayvon Colbert's been great. But then there's the Kayvon Smith. There's Trey Henderson. There's Ty Anderson. There's Jay Wright. Just everybody seems like they've come. Khalil Smith, who's had 3 interceptions tonight. Nobody took a day off. This was a game that the Iowa knew that they were going to need if they had any shot at getting into the playoffs. And they've capitalized and come up in a big way.
The Goats and the Siege are currently in a war in Nebraska. 59-58, the Goats up by 1.
And they know the stakes of this game, too. The Goats can lock up a playoff spot and eliminate Iowa from the postseason if they can get a win tonight.
And the Goats just scored a touchdown late in that one. So again, the Woo still with a chance to get into contention, but a win by the Goats would eliminate them. But regardless, a good season so far. That ball is thrown and would have been out of bounds on a regular football field as well. So the Axemen will take over at the 25.
Maybe at this point, early in the game when he was throwing it into the stands, maybe it was a bit of strategy. They were just trying to figure out the right tactics to approach the return man for the Axemen. At this point in the game, might just be a little bit of not showmanship, but just a chance to at least let your foot off the gas a little bit. You don't need to throw the ball down and get it into territory where somebody's going to get their head taken off by a defender. Just kind of ease up off the gas maybe a little bit for the last 2 minutes and 46 seconds of this game, because at this point the outcome is in hand. May as well just kind of let sleeping dogs lie if you're the Woo.
2:46 left to go. The Axemen looking to clean up the score. First play broken up. Great defense.
Ethan Sheaf trying to find a little bit of rhythm. They're going to want to find a way to get a win before the season ends when they host St. Joe next week. Maybe a chance for Ethan Sheaf just to get some practice reps into this point. The outcome is no longer in doubt, but Sheaf at least could possibly start to find a little bit of rhythm and maybe find a little bit of positive momentum going in with 1 week left in the season.
2nd and 10. Sheaf looking to escape, looking to run. Gets past the line of scrimmage, gains 2 with the stretch.
Another great tackle by Ty Anderson on defense, who's been so good. Kind of in that front linebacker, D-line range. He's kind of played a hybrid role tonight. He's been great in that spot.
Timeout on the field. Oh, 2-minute warning. At the 2-minute warning, the outcome is in hand for the Woo. The Axemen are looking to clean up the score. 60-18 your score. Woo up big. We'll be right back after this break.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
$1:54 to go in Cedar Falls, and the second time tonight they were a little premature on the snap out of the 2-minute. The 3rd down pass to the end zone was incomplete. Was an on-target pass by Sheaf, just into double coverage. The receiver couldn't quite get to it. Fell incomplete in the end zone.
Pass really the last offensive play of the night. Let's see what Sheaf can do with it for the Axemen.
You see on your screen the patriotic colors out today. That's a 1st down throw on 4th. A lateral to the big man. Touchdown! Big man touchdown!
As if he willed it into existence.
I told you. I told you. Big man touchdown.
Thaddeus Tolliver, the guy who actually came off the field as he got injured earlier, comes back and gives my partner the desire of his heart, what he'd been wanting all night.
Axemen fans, I will say this. There is something positive out of this game, and you got a big man touchdown. You got to feel good about that, regardless of the score. A thing of beauty.
Is that how they drew it up even? It kind of looks like it might have been drawn up as a hook and lateral like that. Tolliver came running down the field like he was expecting that ball to come to him. Unsuccessful conversion attempt, so the Axemen will finish tonight 0 for 4 on conversions. Just one more thing to work on their end. But yeah, that was, I don't know if they've been saving that play all year or something, but Tolliver just came running down that field like he was going to expect to get that ball in his hands, and now he's gasping for breath as he exits the field
Get
of
that
play.
man some Gatorade, get that man some oxygen. You deserve it, big fella.
Yeah, that's a beauty. Good way to end the night if you're the Axemen on offense. And if you're the Woo, I don't know if we can just run out the clock here, maybe take a few knees, see if we can get out of here. With the game already in hand, Axemen get a chance to possibly get the final score of the night, as we've got a 60-24 scoreboard right now.
And the Axemen are going to attempt the onside kick, essentially. This is another rule that's a little bit different than you're used to seeing. This is a 4th and 20, essentially.
From their own 5-yard line.
From their own 5-yard line. If they can convert, they will keep possession of the ball. They can score again with 1:37 on the clock. So again, 4th and 20. If they convert it, they get to keep the ball.
Good chance for us to explain just one more of these little wrinkles in the league. This new one without a kick or an onside kick attempt. You got kind of the onside down, essentially.
So 4th and 20.
And do we have a quarterback on the field? We do not. Even Chief now.
We got to get a quarterback on the field.
Having to run out there.
I thought the big man was going to throw the ball. I was about to lose it.
Looked like he was about to line up there.
I would have lost it, quite frankly.
Make your OC's head spin.
So we have a quarterback now on the field, Ethan Chief. 4th and 20 to keep possession of the ball. And that ball is fumbled, recovered by
Chief.
the
Looks like a
Chief, and that's a safety.
Oh, no. Well, looks like the Woo might. Nope, it is ruled a safety, it looks like.
Kind of a broken play from the start. Didn't have the quarterback on the field. And
oh, actually, that should be it. I don't know if we're going to. No real point in replaying it, but if you want to, it looked like a touchdown to me, actually. It didn't look like the quarterback ever actually had possession of it once the ball got down. Looked like that could have been a touchdown for Ty Anderson. But I don't know if we want to go through the motions of replaying anything at this point. May as well just put those 2 points on the board and take the ball back and put this thing to bed. Regardless, this, I believe, is the highest point total of the season for the Woo. Is that right?
that is a tie. No, absolutely. 62 points is the high for the season. They scored 61 against St. Joe's a couple weeks back.
St. Joseph, the birthplace of Marshall Mathers, a.k.a. Eminem. Don't know if he's going to be tuning into that St. Joseph, Nebraska Siege game tonight.
Certainly should be.
No word on whether Slim Shady is a fan of the Goats.
With 2:37 left in that game, St. Joseph has a 66-58 lead over Nebraska.
I think at this point maybe we're taking a look at the result of that onside attempt, whether it was indeed a safety or a touchdown. Just
With
want to make
1 minute and 37 seconds left in a several possession game, we are taking a look at a replay.
38-point lead right now for the Woo, so appear to have things locked up. And now the teams will come on the field for the throw-off.
I just heard from the replay official the rules don't cover that. So
we'll just carry on as normal. Looks like we're going to throw the ball out of bounds, give a souvenir to a fan, and let the Woo just run the clock out on this thing.
ball in the stands to a fan, and the ball placed at the 25.
Got a fan in the front row in a Kobe High School jersey out of Lower Marion, number 33. He's going to take some hardware home with him.
1 minute and 37 seconds left. The Woo just over 90 seconds away from home victory number 1 and total victory number 3. They will be eyeing the score of the Nebraska game as they run to the right, get about 1 or 2 yards.
It's Trey Henderson, one of the offensive weapons on this team, just an all-around good offensive player, picking up a yard or so. And we do have a shorter play clock, of course, in the Arena League. About 20 seconds is all we have to work with on each play, so gonna have to run a few more plays before we can finish this thing.
Second down snap. Sharp looks to throw. Under pressure, escapes. He's got to throw it. Across his body, down to the 10, and wrapped up. You see about maybe the 7-yard line is where he'll be stopped.
There's Harold Brooks again, one of those guys that's again been a fill-in player tonight who came out of nowhere. enter the roster after not being there all season, and here he is making lots of plays for the Woo tonight. Again, a great cross the body pass for Vernon Sharp. Just a great play there by him, who had the awareness to scramble, escape, and then find an open man.
If you're an Iowa Woo fan, I would implore you to go back to week 1. Sharp throws it away with 39 seconds left. I would implore you to watch week 1 of this team play. Just watch Vernon Sharp throw the ball and watch this game back. The difference, you are watching a different player completely.
And you could see even in week 1, even though there were a lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes, you could see the talent was there. You could see that this guy was an offensive threat, just a matter of execution.
And this play, nothing doing, taken down at about the 8-yard line. Loss of 2 on the play. But really, it's not just Sharp, it's this entire team. They're playing with a different intensity, it feels like. Since that long road trip and since the break last week, they've come out looking like a team that can compete with the best of them in this league. 3rd down, Sharp under pressure, fading away, will deliver, and it goes out of play. One of the Woo interns couldn't quite catch it. Shout out John Efting trying to make that play.
We've got time for one more play, a 4th down, 3 seconds left in the game. See if the Woo want to try to get to the end zone one more time or just run the clock out here.
3 seconds. Sharp takes it to the end zone. Incomplete. And that will do it, folks. The Iowa Woo pick up win number 1 in the Unidome. Their first win in this building and win number 3 on the season. 62-24 your score. Iowa moves to 3-4, and Eau Claire moves to 0-7. They'll look to get their first win next week against St. Joe's at home. The Iowa Woo will look to win next week, next Sunday, against Nebraska. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll look at stats and highlights from this one. You're watching the Arena League.
Take care, guys.
Welcome back to Cedar Falls, Iowa. Your final score, Iowa Woo 62, Eau Claire Axemen 24. Iowa moves to 3-4, Eau Claire falls to 0-7. Let's take a look at some highlights from this game. The Woo really could do no wrong in the second half, the second quarter and the second half, really.
Yeah,
Sharp looked great.
Everything from the very get-go. I think I even projected it as I started the game that we'd see just a lot of offensive weapons, a heavy offensive attack, and that started from the very first drive when Sharp found Harold Brooks for a touchdown. The Axemen responding with a touchdown the first play of offense. But then it was the Woo taking advantage of things on special teams, as they did. This guy, Trayvon Colbert, all night looked so good. This was the only time he found the end zone on a throw-off return, but he was so good setting up the Woo in positive territory. Every single time he got his hands on the ball, he was doing something special. We only didn't get to see it very much because after the Axemen scored their fourth touchdown, there were no more throw-offs, so didn't get to see as much of Trayvon Colbert as we might like, but he was so outstanding all night long.
You see a throw here. Looked like it was going to be incomplete, but it was intercepted.
Khalil Smith.
One of three.
His first of 3 interceptions tonight. He was so good. The Axemen, early on offense, looking just as Sharp and the Woo were, 18-18. It was tied early on after that Kayvon Smith touchdown. That was their third touchdown of the night. And then you had Murray escaping for a long pickup and a score. Joshua Murray was so explosive on offense in the first half until he got pulled out in the second half. Axemen just trying to figure things out on offense, and it was all downhill from there. Here's Sharp directing traffic. As the game went on, it just seemed like he got more and more confident. Everything working in his favor. With that touchdown to Trey Henderson, they took the lead, and everything from that point forward, it seemed like there was just nothing that they could do wrong, including that play right there. Fumble, interception, one of the two. When number 4 came up with it, Stephon Chapman with that first pick 6, if you want to call it that, and Sharp with another touchdown pass. Just an avalanche of touchdowns for the Woo. Everything going right for them after that point. Khalil Smith had pick 6, had one of 3 interceptions tonight. Just couldn't do any wrong if you're the Woo.
And the Woo moved to 3-4 on the season. Their playoff hopes in the hands of the St. Joseph Goats tonight. Currently leading over the Nebraska Siege, undefeated. Siege on the ropes. Your final score from Cedar Falls: Iowa 62, Eau Claire 24. For Owen Sebring, I'm Jason Stivers, and our entire Clutch Sports crew thanks you for joining us for this production of the Arena League. Have a great night. Big man touchdown, baby.
Way to go out of the show. Thing of beauty.